All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully, you guys are all having a fantastic day today. I just realized my title may actually still be stuck on level 96 when I want it to be on level 97 because we hit level 97 yesterday and I didn't even realize that. I completely forgot. What's up, Bashfish Cat, Hector, Carlos, Boss, Yankee? Yo, Yankee, I freaking love you too, man. Yeah, I'm still on level 96. I'm gonna change that to level 97 here real quick. But yo, welcome to the stream, everybody. Appreciate you guys all coming out. You guys are all absolute legends. The notification squad is strong, baby. You guys are insane, man. You guys are literally actually insane. Thank you all so much. All right, all those changes are safe. We should be good. Yo, what's up, Billiard? How you doing today, Matt Grossman? What's up, Pablo? How you doing today, Axe? What's up, Peanut Man? Jamie, Sean, Outcast. Welcome to the stream. Jorge, Carter, Samuel, and Ziggy. Pedro, that hoodie looking hot. The hoodie looking hot, man. Yo, I actually want to let you guys know I'm actually working on some really cool behind the scenes stuff for some new merch designs that I'm going to be bringing to you guys hopefully very soon, that I really think you guys are going to be liking. So I'm going to be hopefully, I don't know when I'll actually like have everything released, but I'm hoping I'll be able to show you guys like some really cool new merch designs very soon. Very soon, which is going to be awesome. What's up, Sloth, Malik, BSAV, John, SNPZ? Welcome to the stream. How you doing today, Tyler? Welcome, guys. Jeremiah, Master Gamer, and Grey Wing. Welcome, guys. What's up, Ahmet, Shooter, Leo Geller? Welcome to the stream. So today, guys, we're literally just going to be doing like challenges. I'm literally dedicating this entire stream to just challenges. We're going to be doing really unique, cool, funny things. And a lot of the suggestions, a lot of the challenges that I plan on doing, I'm going to hopefully take from you guys. So if you guys have like any cool challenges you want me to do, leave them in the chat. Actually, you know what? No, you can talk about them in the chat. Absolutely. But like another great thing you guys could probably do is tweet them at me. Tweet them at me. My Twitter is @ProHenis. There's a link in the description down below. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you follow that. Make sure you follow me there, because that's probably going to be the best place for you guys to be able to send me ideas for new challenges. So the first one that we're going to be doing, I see a lot of people were asking about like the not the no gun challenge, but the common only challenge. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to do the common only challenge where we're only using common weapons. We can't use anything else other than commons, which I think is actually going to be really hard. But I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. We might as well do shooting test 1 because we want the best accuracy for this for right now. And then we can definitely do the no gun challenge as well, because the no gun challenge, the common only challenge, those are both going to be pretty difficult, I would say. Not too difficult, but not too easy either. I think they'll be kind of fun challenges to do. The no kill challenge, yeah, the no kill challenge I know is going to be really popular. We'll definitely do that one. So the challenges that I'm going to try to stay away from are like challenges where we only exclusively use one weapon. I just feel like that's kind of boring. Like where I'm not going to do like a shotgun only or like a pistol only or or like a sniper only. What I would do is like maybe no AR challenge where I can't use an AR. I feel like that might be a really interesting challenge. But yeah, this first one we're going to start off with is just going to be common only. So we can only use common weapons. But yeah, hopefully you guys are having an awesome day. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the upload that I put up earlier today. If you guys didn't catch that upload, make sure you check that out after the stream or at some point during the stream and then come back to this. The upload that I put up today was we built a sky trap and it was actually really cool. Make sure you guys go check that out. It's the latest upload on my channel. The no skydiving challenge. What's the no skydive challenge? Is that where you literally just hop out and you can't like... That'd be really hard. One gun only? I want to see a crossbow only challenge. Oh my god. Can you imagine crossbow only? That'd actually be kind of sick. Alright, so like I said, this is going to be... We're going to do gray gun only challenge. And we may jump around, like, between challenges during this stream too. So, like, we might go for this, like, gray one here for a little bit. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I think for the first game or two, I'm just going to... No. I was going to say I'm just going to warm up and just try to go for a win. But at the same time, I just kind of really just want to like jump into the challenge, you know? Yo, Corey Dixon with the 5. Thank you so much, Corey. I appreciate that. There's no audio alerts right now. I want to go ahead and thank Kevin and Dante, by the way, for the 2-month responsor. I seriously appreciate that, guys. All right, so common only. We can't pick up that blue AR. All right, here we go. Common weapon only challenge. We can, of course, pick up the ammo. All right, let's give this a shot. Let me go ahead and just jump into this front door right here. Might as well pick that up for right now, even though that really sucks. You know what I just realized, guys? The only shotgun I'm going to be able to use is going to have to be the... oh, here we go. That's actually perfect. The only shotguns we're going to be able to use is going to have to be the gray pump. We can't use any tacs, and you guys know how much I love my tacs. That's going to literally kill me. This actually might end up being, like, just for my personal play style, a harder challenge than what I'm used to, but we'll see. That's what's going to make it fun, for sure. Alright, we're just going to have to get a ton of building supplies, more than likely. I'm actually going to pick up that instead as my secondary. We'll roll with that. Ooh, actually, that's even better. And then we'll probably end up picking up that. I'm definitely going to need some heals here pretty soon, though, too. Look at all the commons we got, dude. This looks so bland. It looks so boring. Alright, I want to go for that. Whatever's going on over here. Oh, just heard a trap. I think he placed that right in the front door. Yeah, challenge. Literally, it's right in there. No! God damn it, dude. Of course he just runs right out and gets me. Hey, what's up, Winter? What's up, Ocean? Yo, Winter, by the way, I followed you on your brand new Twitter yesterday, too. Sniper only challenge, the no weapon challenge, silenced only. Malik says silenced only. I don't know, man. I feel like that'd be kind of difficult. I think we may actually want to warm up and just do like one game where we just literally go try hard mode and we just go really, really hard at that. And then what we could probably do is we could just hop into actually start doing the challenges. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'll just start out by picking up like any weapon I want and like get a win just to really warm myself up, get sort of warmed up with building and stuff. And then like after we play like a first game or like win a first game, whatever it ends up being, then we'll go ahead and do the challenge. Henis, I'm new to your channel, bro. I barely found out about your channel yesterday, so I decided to subscribe. I like your Fortnite gameplays. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. No tack. Guys, I have to use attack. I'm sorry. I'm actually really pissed that there's no such thing as a gray tack. I feel like that'd be super OP. Or not super, no, it wouldn't be super OP, but like for my plays, it would be, or, you know, for my style, it would be awesome. Almost 200 likes in the stream. You guys are insane. We're also one sponsor away from hitting 100 sponsors, which is crazy. Obviously, some people come and go when it comes to sponsorships. If you guys are interested in sponsoring the channel, there's links in the description down below. One chest challenge? So what exactly is the one chest challenge? So like, I can only open up one chest and that's the only chest I can open up? Because if that's the case, that's not a very hard challenge, I feel. I'm just going to warm up. We're just going to go right to Tilted Towers. It's going to be my plan to warm up here. Henis, do the max sense challenge? Winter, that wouldn't even be... That would just end up being like a funny moments video. Like if I can't do that, it's like seriously, you know? I really like the streams. Thank you, Premium. Appreciate that, man. I saw you killed Ninja. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of you guys actually saw that video. That video is doing pretty good on the channel. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that video, though. Really weird how all that kind of worked out circumstantially, but... what's up, Xavier? Someone donated? Yeah, I know. I saw Corey Dixon's donate. Shoot, I forgot to... Alt-tab out to fix the alerts, but let me go for a weapon here first. I'm just going to go for this purple pistol that you're going to grab. That's great. Open this up, please, quickly as possible. He's got to be so weak, dude. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. My aim is so bad right now. Thank you. Oh, that was just a regular blue. I thought it was a purple. Okay, we gotta make sure we're warmed up here. Where's this guy? I want to like loot a ton of this stuff. Oh shoot, of course there's a guy right out there. Another donation coming in. Yo, I'm so sorry I can't acknowledge these right now, guys. Shoot, I can't heal up anyways. I need a shotgun right now is what I really need. Someone's already been in here, of course. Go ahead and grab this AR ammo. I need that. Goddamn, we're already off to like an intense start right here. Holy Jesus. Are you kidding me? We only have 28 bullets right now? Whoa. Dude, how did I not get that guy, man? He was literally sitting right there, dude. RIPs. RIPs. What's up, Snipes? Was I scared to start my first stream? Not really, man. I mean, to be honest with you, streaming has just always been kind of like a fun, relaxed thing for me, in all honesty. It's never really been something that's like intense. It's just like this is what I really like about streaming though. Streaming is just always so chillaxed and laid back. Henis, try the no building challenge. We're gonna like warm up. We're gonna get a really good first game, and then we're just gonna hop right into these challenges. That's my plan. What's my Snapchat? Real ProHenis. Do the circle thing like last night. If I play with Kenny again, we'll definitely do that. Let me go ahead and fix these donations here. Oh shoot! So all these start coming through for you guys. Here we go.
Henis, how is your Sunday going?
Corey Dixon, my Sunday's going so great. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat.
How did you get so good at Fortnite?
Yo, Dominic, thank you so much for the $2, man. I appreciate that. Let me go. I'll answer all these donations. I'm actually doing pretty good, dude. I'm actually doing really, really good. Today's just a good day. I like the direction I'm starting to take my channel. I don't know, man. It's just feeling solid, you know? It just feels good.
When zombies.
But thank you so much for the Sunday, man. For the $5, Corey. I really appreciate that. Dominic then comes in with a 2 and says, Henis, how did you get so good at Fortnite? I've invested a lot of hours, man. That's really the best advice I can give to you. Nothing really more satisfying than that. I've just invested a lot of time in the game, man. But yeah, I appreciate the $2. I would only consider myself to be an average player, but I appreciate the support. Trocky then comes in with a 1. Thank you so much for that. And then Dominic with a 2 says, when zombies? Guys, I know there's a lot of zombies fans, and so I'm just gonna keep reiterating this like as much as I can. But like, if you guys are only subscribed to my channel for zombies content, like I'm really not trying to disappoint you guys, but you should just straight up unsubscribe. Because like my content will always change. I'm always gonna be adapting as a YouTuber, and so ideally the way you should sort of look at my content is that you should be here for me, right? And the content that I create, not necessarily the game that I play, right? That's sort of ideally where I want to be. Oh god, I'm screwed. Dude, I played that so horribly, dude. I tried to... I'm not loose right now. I'm not loose. I'm playing stupid. I'm playing really, really stupid. Let's get to 260,000 subs. We're already at 260,000, man. We hit that yesterday. We're about to go up 1,000 subs in a day. It's going to be crazy. Did Trap Only challenge? Trap Only would be kind of fun, for sure, for sure. What's up, Matt Grossman? How am I? I'm doing pretty good, bro. I'm doing pretty good. I got to warm up and, like, actually, I probably shouldn't go to Tilted Towers for my very first game. I should probably go somewhere a little less high octane. We should probably go to, like, Salty Springs is pretty high octane, but, like, somewhere different from that. But, yo, Dominic, I don't want to seem like I'm not appreciative. Excuse me, of your $2, man. Thank you so much for that. What's up, Mind Drifts? What's up, Fozzie? Damn, son, he sucked. Yeah, bro, I'm doing terrible right now. I'm doing absolutely awful. Challenge where you can't get loot off of kills. Damn, imagine, yo, that would we could call that the no looting challenge. We're literally, well, actually, how would we do that challenge where we can only pick up loot off of dead bodies? Because then how would we kill the first person? Like, how would that even work? What are you doing? I blow you a kiss. Oh, he just jumped off. Pure salt. I love those emojis, man. Those emotes that they added are so cool. Somebody said, well, just another O custom. Damn, Sloth, are you saying, what do you mean I'm just another O custom? O custom's a dope dude. What do you mean just another O custom? What's that supposed to mean? O custom's channel is doing really well, actually, man. At least from what I've seen. Damn. Yo, top D of the day by far. What's happening?
IDK, what you play, I still love your channel.
Anybody knows what just happened right there? Those donations just came in at the same time and they got flipped. What the heck? Here's for another great stream. Yo, Big Center, what's up, man? I want that Fortnite to disappear? Bro, nah. Fortnite is literally such a fun... It's like the perfect streaming game. But Dominic, thank you so much for the 2. He says, I don't know what you... I don't care what you play. I'll still watch your streams. Thank you, man. And that's the thing, right? Like, ideally, the way you want to watch a YouTuber is, like, you don't really care what they'll play. You just watch for their content. And that's where the content creators want to be, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where us creators want to get to. We want to get to that point where people watch us regardless of whether or not we're playing the game that we're, you know, quote-unquote known for, you know? Oh, there's nothing down there that I want. I'm actually going to go to the bottom part of the house, though. What's up, Brandon? Yeah, we'll just do that. Baby, does it get any better than that? I don't think so. I don't think so, baby. Blue AR's outside the roof? Well, it doesn't matter if it's blue. We already got a purple.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 23 of my Fortnite Let's Play. I just spawned here at Pleasant Park and I think I hear a guy right above me. I'm super scared. I don't really know what to do. I think he's literally right outside. I'm gonna swap some of my weapons. Okay, I'm gonna try to peek out now. Oh yeah, oh my god, no, no.
You know, that would have been a little bit funnier if I didn't miss my first shot on him. You know? That would have been... It would have been better if I didn't look like such an idiot trying to kill that guy. Little too late for that, though. Little too late. Poor guy. What the heck was happening there? That's rude. Come on, guys. It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. That's a good ProHenis impersonation? Damn, Bear. Alright, I see you. Bear's out here roasting me. Actually, no. We're just gonna hear more chests upstairs. What's up, Reese? How you doing today, man? Oh, somebody said there was a blue tack. Is there really? Yeah, picking that up for right now. Until we get a sniper. Watch, we're getting a sniper right out of here. Yo, TJG. My man, thank you so much for that sponsor, homie. I really appreciate that. You're my 100th sponsor, actually. Yo, let's get some TJG love in the chat. Thank you so much, man, for that support. I seriously appreciate that, my man. Thank you so much, brother. TJG, dude, he's like an insane donator. Supports the channel so much. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for your support. The no moving challenge? Good one. Good one, dude. That'd be really fun to watch, wouldn't it? Hey, you guys want to just, for the lulz of it? Actually, how far do we have to go? We should probably just move, actually. I was going to say we would try to, like, destroy that whole building and just watch it fall, but... as fun as that would be, we should probably just go for the win, since I want to get a win today. What's up, Trevor Roberts? How you doing today? So what exactly is the no skydive challenge? Because I've seen people mention that. But yo, I never acknowledged West Play's donation. I feel so bad, man. You donated 10 bucks. That's top D of the day. I never properly thanked you for that. Thank you so much for your $10, dude. He just said hi, Henis. Yo, let's get some West hype in the chat. W-E-S. Thank you so much for the love, man. Seriously appreciate that. What's up, Gino? East Coast will always be liddied. What does liddied mean? What did I miss? Expert Thief. Not a whole lot, man. This is our, like, third game on. In, like, less than 30 minutes because we suck. So we're trying. You been good? You been busy though? And you know what? Not always a bad thing being busy. It's kind of good to keep yourself entertained, keep yourself moving. You know. All right, we're like right near the safe zone right now, so we should be good. Sniper. Chat. They call me the wizard. You can't skydive at all, so you just have to fall. Is that really a challenge, though? I don't know. Oh. Where am I hearing that? Right over here. You have to glide the whole time down to a city? Oh, damn. Not glide, but just like fall with your parachute out? That sounds awful. I don't think he's up any higher. I'm gonna go up one more though, just to be sure. I'd hate to be shot at from above. Here he is. Is that him? Nah, that's a building. Oh, what's up, Killjoy? Nice skin? Yo, thank you. Rocking it loud and proud right now. I love this skin. Let's get it. Do the close range challenge? There's so many different challenges we can do, and I love having all these suggestions from viewers too. I was telling everybody earlier, can you guys go ahead and just tweet me challenges that you think would be really fun for me to do? Because if you type them in the chat, like some of them I will be able to see and I'll like remember them, but the best thing for you guys to do, honestly, is tweet them at me. Couple more guys down there, actually. There's one more down here, and then there was another one running up the ramp. I think he's actually still looking for him. Yeah, he's building right there. Look at that. All right, we're just gonna go for him. We've got a minute 43 until the next storm comes, so we got time. Yo, my man, Dynamic Matt, coming in with a sponsor. You were my 101st sponsor, my man. Thank you so much for that support, brother. I really, really appreciate that, my man. Way overshot that. Woo-wee. All right, we're fine. We're alive. We got 48 seconds though. We got a lot of people to loot around here too. Damn, that was not executed as elegantly as I was hoping. I can't. What the hell? I can't edit that. Okay, perfect. Ooh, thank God. He actually just hit that off me again, though. Like, for real. Pick that up. Gotta pick that up for right now, just so we can start swapping stuff in and out. So we gotta get moving here. Oh, no, you gotta be kidding me, bro. That's gonna set us back so much. Oh, and the storm's moving. Can we outrun this one? I think we can, actually. Oh, we can outrun this one. That's actually huge. Okay, cool. Okay, pick all that up. Pick up those. Come over here. Get all of that. Then we're gonna pick up all this. Alright, we're moving, chat. We're moving. Okay. We're gonna make it? Yeah, we should be fine. Is there anything here that I want? Nope. Beautifully executed, chat. Beautifully executed. Whew. We got the jump pad, baby. We got the jump pad. Let's go. Kind of wish we had picked up those bandages, but it is what it is. It's all good. We got 6 kills. No more jump pad, though. Henis Joe showing the stream. What's up, Jamie? How you doing today, my man? Welcome to the stream. I definitely got to get some more wood here, though. We are low on the wood material. Really wish we had 100 health and 100 shield right now, too. Like, it would have been so perfect to pick up a chug jug. Just run with the chug jug right out of here, but... yeah, we're just gonna rock with this for right now. Love your videos. Yo, thank you, Yu-Gi-Oh! I appreciate that, man. 10 people left? Oh, no, 8 people left. 6 kills. Damn, people are dropping like flies right now. I'm going for this jump pad. Or if it... supply drop is what I meant to say. Don't know what you guys thought I said. Look at how perfectly on the edge of the storm that is, though. Just the off chance somebody came out of the storm just chilling in that corner. Looks like we're good. Really wish I had a lot of wood right now. Yo, what's up, Higsy? How you doing today, my man? Welcome to the stream. All right, let me open this up right here. And give me something good. Okay, another med kit. Oh, yes, please. Okay, perfect. That's literally, like, honestly, one of the best things we could have gotten. Hey, what's up, Cole? How you doing today, man? You like the music? Hey, glad to hear that, bro. Glad to hear that. Yeah, the music's kind of chill. I like it a lot. I think it kind of keeps everything in nice, like a nice little chill mood. If you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure you guys drop a like. We're really close to 400 likes. We're 69 likes away. And when you guys subscribe to the channel as well, you'll see your name appear in the lower right-hand corner. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel as well. Another supply drop right there. Maybe there'll be some people pushing that Tomato Town with us. I'm gonna try to use as little material right now as I can because I really want to save like as much building as possible for the for like the final gunfights that I'll have and stuff. Okay, I don't think there's anybody over there. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody in that base, so I think we should be alright. We're definitely gonna be running into some people soon. We have to. But at the same time, the zone is still fairly big for 7 people, so we'll see. We will see. How do you use coins? So every single viewer is awarded 10 coins every 10 minutes you watch a stream. Just simply by watching, you earn coins. Sorry, guys. Just heard footsteps. There's definitely footsteps around here. I don't know where, though. But yeah, you're awarded 10 coins every 10 minutes you watch the stream. And then at the end of every single month, you guys can use those coins to enter into massive giveaways that I run at the end of every single month for... oh, these guys are both going for the same drop, I think. For stuff like GFuel, we do merch giveaways. We do gift card giveaways. A lot of really awesome stuff. Oh. You gotta be kidding me, bro. He's so weak, man. How is that not a headshot? If only I could rocket ride myself, bro. I'd be rocket riding literally right to him right now. Oh, wait, another dude literally running right up on his platform. Try to push up over here. Lots of shots being exchanged. Jesus, that has to be like everybody that's left. Holy crap. Shoot. Thought I might be able to get him. That would have been awesome. Oh, yeah. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Okay. It's so tempting. I really want to... shoot, I actually don't know what to take right now. Are you freaking serious, bro? Chug this real quick. Gosh. He lasered me. That was a good shot. Really wish we had more building material, bro. I don't know how we only have this much wood. Doesn't make any sense. Here we go. More wood. Okay, that's good. That's good. 700. I'll definitely take that. So I don't know where this guy is. Oh, I think he's scooting down the mountain right there. You guys see this guy, right? Didn't take any damage. That's exactly what we needed. I don't know how it took that many shots, though. I honestly thought I had out my RPG when I fired that first shot, when I just fired my AR. That was not what I meant to do. Oh, God. Bro, my hands are sweating right now. But, yo, Kasi, thank you so much for that sponsor. I appreciate that. Kasi V. Really, really do appreciate that. Let's get some Kasi hype in the chat. Thank you so, so much for that support. Oh, there's only... Oh, it's a 1v1. I didn't even realize. Let me get back to my jump pad here. You kidding me? No, Henis. RP. I didn't reload the RPG. You gotta be kidding me. Bro, I thought I might lose that for a second. Damn, GG's in the chat, baby. Let's freaking go. Yo, thank you to all the brand new sponsors. You guys are absolutely insane. We got Kasi, Dynamic Matt, TJG, all with the brand new sponsors today. Thank you so much, guys. Yo, get some GG's, get some hype in the chat. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Drop a like. We're almost at 500 likes, 10 subs away from 260.7K. Let's get it, baby. What was that, third game of the day? No, I literally just held up a 2 and said third game of the day. I think that was third game of the day. So now we're actually going to start going for some of those challenges. So what we're going to do first, we're going to do the common weapon only challenge. This is literally a challenge that you guys have been requesting so much for me to do. I'm going to go ahead and do this one first.
Hello, zombies today.
Yo, Dynamic Matt, again, man, I appreciate your donation. Or no, Dynamic Matt, this was, no, Dominic. Dominic was the person who was coming in earlier asking for zombies. I'm not going to be doing zombies today, man. Like I said, I'm going to be doing zombies much more infrequently. The reason for this is just simply because I love Fortnite right now. It's one of the best games to play to grow a YouTube channel. And yeah, so I'm going to be playing Fortnite for right now. If you guys are only subscribed to my channel for zombies, by the way, it's not the reason you should be subscribed. Like, just be subscribed just because we chill. Like, that's literally what we're here to do. How do you sponsor? Yeah, so if any of you guys are interested in how to become a sponsor or the benefits of becoming a sponsor, it's all in the description down below. You get the cool sponsor badge next to your name, so you sort of stand out like a moderator does. Your name appears in green, so it's a lot easier for me to spot, so I'll notice pretty much all your messages in the chat. And you get access to all the cool custom emotes too, which is one of the coolest features that you guys get as part of being a sponsor. Why does it take money to sponsor? Just because it's different than, just subscribing to a channel or following a channel, When you're sponsoring, you're investing, right? You're not investing, you're supporting. You're saying, hey, I'll pledge, you pledge $5 a month to the channel. So it's not a whole lot of money, but you get some cool benefits in return. And if you're somebody who likes to chat and participate, then that's some of the benefits you can get. Can you do a semi-auto weapons only, please, or a scoped weapon only challenge? I'm going to start with the gray weapon only challenge. I feel like that might be kind of cool. Like a common only challenge. We'll start with that. I'm going to land right here. I never landed in the sniper's nest, and I feel like this might be the ticket to my success right here. Please give me a good common weapon. Oh, are you kidding me? You can't even pick that up, dude. That sucks. Of course, the one time we don't want, like, a different colored AR. We get it, like, out of the first chest. So I'm going to have to run all the way into Salty now. I'm going to try to get a little bit of wood from this tree, actually. Can you jump out of here? I think you can, right? Yeah. I'm going to get a little bit of wood from this tree, and then we're just going to go to this very first closest house right here. We'll go from there. There we go. I hear a chest right in the corner. Give me something good. All right, common only. There we go. All right, so we got our first common. We're going to get full health and full shield too, which is kind of nice considering that we're only going to have an SMG to start things off here. Breaking the floor. Oh, common AR. Boom. That's exactly what we wanted. Get the M out of this. And there should be, hopefully, there'll be a chest in here. We can get out of this. Top of the garage. Unfortunately not. Come on, give me some more good common weapons. I'm tempted to take the burst. I'm tempted to. I'm going to take it just so I have something different in case I run out of ammo and I don't want to reload. That's exactly what we were looking for, guys. We needed that shotgun. That's perfect. Pick that up. We got another shotgun. Oh, we could double pump, man, but I'm not gonna be that guy. That's not really my forte. I'm not a big double pump guy for sure. So let's go right over here. We're just gonna loot this next house, I guess. The no sniper challenge. I feel like that's not really a challenge though. Just not picking up a sniper. I mean, I've already won a couple games without using a sniper. You know, it's not the hardest challenge to do ever. And there's a sniper, man. Of course, we can't pick that up. Oh, shoot, dude. Oh, got lucky with that headshot, man. Yo, just dinked that guy. Holy crap. This is what I'm talking about, though. That's why I really don't like the pump. I really just personally prefer the tack a lot more. Just because it allows me to correct my shots in those situations. But, alright. So far, not too bad. Alright, and I'm pretty sure that guy was just shooting me with an AR, right? Yeah, so we're just not even going to work with that. I think there's a chest in here, or I heard one in the basement. Yeah, it's in the basement. That sucks. I really want to... Like, all my instincts are telling me, just pick up the sniper! But I can't. Because we're doing the common weapon only challenge, man. Feels sad. Alright, nice. I'll definitely take that med kit. Alright, let's go for it. If I can get at least 10 kills in this challenge, I'm going to be happy. Do the no crosshair challenge. We actually have already done that challenge, man. The no crosshair challenge, or the no HUD challenge. I already uploaded that to my channel. If you want to go take a look at that, it's one of my recently uploaded videos. Alright. No trap. Alright, good. Definitely take the ammo. You know what I just realized, man? We're going to be picking up all this RPG ammo, and we're not going to be able to do anything with it. Like, because there's no such thing as a gray RPG or a gray grenade launcher. So we're literally not wasting our time picking up the ammo because it doesn't take any time at all, but it's essentially useless to us. I'll pick this up, actually. We're not going to be able to use snipers. We're not going to be able to use any grenade launcher, RPG. God damn it, dude. That really sucks. I kind of wish we could, but it's whatever. Alright, I'm trying to move more towards the middle of the map right now. Looks like somebody else was already over here. We've already got a decent amount of wood, too. I'm guessing there's going to be at least somebody at Factory or Dusty Depot. That's what I'm thinking right now. Alright, let's see what we're going. Let's see what we're working with. Nothing. So I heard that drop. Oh, it's right over there. We just can't go. Alright, it's not like we couldn't go for the drop, but there's no point in us going for the drop. Because if we do, we're most likely to get something that's not common. I don't know if you actually can even get a common out of a drop like that. Right now, I really wish I had nades because I'm pretty sure he's literally right in there. He is, man. Oh. What you gonna do, man? What you gonna do? Alright, we're gonna try to break in right here. Hopefully we'll be able to peek in at him. Ooh, baby. Alright, look at all that good loot that he had, man. We'll pick up that extra med kit. I thank you for that, good sir. We're gonna take those nades as well. And look at all this glorious loot that we just can't take. SMH, dude. SMH. Take one last look up here, I guess. Nothing. Is that a guy at a tree? Could've sworn I just saw somebody at that tree. I think that's just part of the stump, though. Not even gonna worry about it. Ninja is in the match. Stop, guys. I don't even want to hear that Ninja's in this match right now. I don't even know if I don't even think Ninja's live right now. He might be though. I don't know. I'm a new subscriber. Yo, what's up, Sai? I was playing Fortnite with my bud, and he said I'm gonna pull a Henis stream. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, when you win every game, and we both started screaming. Oh, God. You know, actually, that's like the opposite of me, man. I don't win a whole lot of games, to be honest with you. When I win a game, it's like an event. Like, everybody knows. Because I'm, like, over here freaking out, you know?
But nah, I just like to play really, really aggressive. So that's a lot. You know, that's why I don't win like every single game. Supply drip only challenge. Yeah, we tried to go for that yesterday. That was actually surprisingly difficult. Not surprisingly difficult. Like we knew it was gonna be hard, but we tried to go for it a couple times yesterday. If it's common only, why do you have greens? Because they're heals, bear. Come on, you're allowed to have medkits and potions and stuff. It's just only the weapons. There's a shield in the truck? In what truck? Truck out here? No, that truck can't even have anything in it. I don't know.
Can you run Fortnite with bad computer?
Can you run Fortnite with a bad computer? Dynamic Matt, I appreciate the donation, man. To be honest with you, I would imagine you can. This game isn't horribly optimized. It's not like the most optimized game out there, but I think it's pretty good as far as a lot of the battle royales go. As far as H1Z1 and PUBG, like it's definitely not terrible. I would give it a shot, man. The best part is that it's free, so you're not wasting anything from at least giving it a shot. You know what I'm saying? I would give it a shot, man. If you want to download Fortnite for the PC, by the way, guys, any of you who are curious, I do have a download link in the description of this video. Download Fortnite for free on the PC, and the link does help benefit me and the channel. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you guys go ahead and do that. We got some potions right here. I'm gonna drop my nades for that actually. Okay, 3, perfect. I'll definitely take that. Come over to the Tilted Towers area. This storm has to be closed in soon, man. Yeah. Oh, this is only the first storm. Whoa, and there's 27 people remaining already. Jeez, people are dropping like flies already. My lord. All right, so Tilted is in the safe zone. That's scary, dude. The last thing I'm going to want is to be in a Tilted Tower safe zone doing the common only challenge. We're just going to get annihilated by snipers and green pump shotties and blue tacks. Oh, it's going to be awful. It's going to literally be terrible. You got a blue axe? Listen, guys. All right. Don't be freaking me out telling me that I have blue items because, like, I'm actually going to fall for that for a second when I read it from the chat. And I'm going to start freaking out. Because the last thing I want to do is screw up this challenge right now. By accidentally picking up a weapon that I can't have. Oh. Look at how far away that guy is, man. Actually, I'm not even going to drink that. I was about to drink it, but literally not even a point.
Keep up the good content.
And we'll keep her going. We're still alive, baby. That's what we like to see. I don't know if we should just push straight through and try to get on the other side of Tilted or what. Oh, I hear a sniper. I'm just going to try to go eliminate that guy, I guess. Oh, there's a chest in here. I'm going to go for that real quick. Please don't tell me that's an RPG heading for me. Ooh. Okay, yeah, I'm actually going to pick up that. Oh, here he is. We should actually be able to get right to this guy pretty easily. He's got traps in his base, though. So that might be kind of challenging. Ooh, let's go, baby. Yo, GG's, man. Holy crap. That dude absolutely annihilated me. Holy crap. I think I can actually place this down. Yeah, we're going to do that. I didn't actually mean to emote right there, to be 100% honest with you. That was just a mistake. Okay. Oh, I can't have the boogie bomb. That's true, because the boogie bomb's blue. Yo, thank you, chat. I actually almost picked that up. I didn't even think about that. You're right. The boogie bomb's blue, so I can't have that. It's a good call, chat. That's a good call. Thank God I didn't use it by accident. That would have sucked. I wasn't thinking, because I'm like, oh, it's not a weapon. Wasn't even thinking. Okay. Now I'm going to use it. Oh, are you kidding me? Leaves us with 5 more HP. Alright, let me just place this one down. It seems like kind of a waste, but we still got 2 medkits, so honestly, it's not that bad. There's really no point in us like maintaining the high ground right now. Just simply because looks like there's a pretty massive fight going on over there. Honestly, I'm just going to try to run for it. Try to eliminate as many of these people as possible. Like, more high octane we keep this, the better, I think. Let me check out what's going on over here real quick. Grab some more ammo. Pick up the rest of these bandages. Might as well. Pick up the rest of this wood. And we have barely any wood. We have 200. That's really not good. We know there's going to be at least one guy down here, though. And he has to be coming to the safe zone. Is he inside this base right here? Right here. Nice. All right, we got to grab his loot really, really quickly. And just go. Oh, shoot, man. You got to be kidding me. Did I not pick up his wood? I think I did. Ah, come on. I really don't want to get hit by the storm. Alright, this guy's going to have to be coming out of here, though. I don't know where. But he's, like, going to have to come out of the storm. Ah, shoot. Let me just start building right here, I guess. I know I'm wasting wood right now. But, honestly, I'm okay with that. Where's this guy going to be coming out? I think he might come out somewhere up over there. I don't think he's going to come down anywhere beneath me. Unless he's just going to get lost in the storm. I don't know. I don't know what this guy's grand plan is. Yo, Trocky, I do appreciate your 5 minutes to keep up the good content. Yo, thank you, man. I do appreciate that, brother. Let's get some Trocky hype in the chat. Thank you so much for the support, my man. He must have come out of the storm because I don't think he died to it. So he must have come out over here. I mean, the storm doesn't do that much damage at this point, so I don't know where he would have ended up.
When you need a new mod, let me know.
Yo, Dynamic Matt, I appreciate another 5, man. You guys are insane. Thank you so much for the support, bro. Thank you so much, man. Wait, why am I not picking up any wood? Or did I already use up all my wood from that one instance? Oh, this dude's literally building right here. Shoot. Die from fall damage. Damn, imagine choking that. Alright, I'm gonna heal up right here. Should be alright. Oh, there's still a chest down here. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and open that up for sure. But yo, Dynamic Matt, really appreciate your 5, man. And absolutely, I'll be sure to hit you up, bro. 100%. Holy God. I'm actually really happy there was no, like, trap down here waiting for me. Another med kit? Alright, we're getting loaded right now. There was another full potion up here. I'm gonna go grab that real quick. I don't know why he just left that up here. You could tell he was kind of a newer player, I think. Alright. Thank God Tilted is in the safe zone. Oh, somebody just opened up the drop right over here. Nice. I hear another chest. Not even gonna worry about it though. Should be alright. Ooh. I don't want to die today. Alright, I'm gonna get the wood from this tree. And we probably just gotta go for this guy. We actually should have a really good advantage on killing him. I think he's just gonna be sitting right down in the middle of this. He should be right down here somewhere. He couldn't have gone far. That's definitely where he opened up the drop. Where would he have run off to? Right behind here? No? We literally heard that open up like 3 seconds ago, right, chat? Like, I didn't all of a sudden get my times all messed up. What the heck, dude? I'm still going to be freaking out about how little building material I have. This is a really small circle, too, for 11 people. This dude's going for all the drops. I respect it. Alright, I'm just going to continue to push this way. Those guys up there, like, have to move. Oh, shoot. We're getting crossbow, dude. Are you serious? Alright, yeah, he's up there. God dang it, dude. Thank God he didn't try to shoot me with an actual weapon. Or I would have been screwed. Oh, this dude's building right here. Are you serious? Alright, I have a jump pad. Wait, am I allowed to use the jump pad? Yeah, I can use the jump pad because it's not a weapon. But I can't use the traps. Can't use the traps, that's right. I should not have destroyed that tree. Because now he has to know exactly where I am. Alright, there's all these LMG shots right down here. This dude sounds really close. I don't think he's in tilted. Yeah, he's going to be right down here. There he is. Got him. Damn, bro. That silver AR just lasered him. Holy crap. Okay, I'm gonna try to get the high ground right here. What's up, Cruiser? How you doing, man? Oh, wait, what the hell? Why can I not build right there? Keep in mind, guys, there's this dude's base right here. Oh, shoot. I don't... He's looking around. He has to see me here soon. Honestly, I think we just build up to him. Just build up to him, guys. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Okay. Now, in all honesty, there's really nothing we can do. We're just going to reload our shotgun. Oh, it's a cruiser raid. Oh, it's cruiser raid. Yo, cruiser, I appreciate the raid, man. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that, homie. Yo, let's get some cruiser hype in the chat, guys. If you guys don't know who Cruiser is, make sure you guys go check him out. He's literally an insane Fortnite player on PC. Make sure you guys go check him out if you don't know who he is. Ah, shoot, bro. There's so many people over here, man. Yeah, look at all this wood I have to use, though. Dang, I did not expect to be using this much building material right now. There's still 9 people left in this small little storm area. All right, somebody just got sniped. I'm gonna try to grab the wood from this tree right here. And then I guess we just gotta get the high ground. In all honesty. I'm gonna put my back to the river. Hoping that nobody is gonna come up over here. We've got a lot of heals, which is really good. I like this a lot. Medkit down there. We haven't needed to use one, though. There's a... Is that coming from over here? I think it was, right? Is that coming from right... Is that coming from up there? Please don't tell me that was coming from up there, man. Oh, that would literally make me cry. I can't tell, bro. Oh, oh, shoot. No. Thank you. Give me your building material. Give me your building material. Okay, we literally needed that. That was clutch. Dude, why does my building keep rotating, dude? Shoot, I thought I had my shotgun out. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, we're about to win this. I might have just jinxed it, actually. I don't want to say that just yet. Gonna reload this. Alright, I'm actually just gonna build a quick little base here for myself. We're just gonna heal up. Alright. Not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. I hear somebody shooting over there. It sounds like he's shooting. I actually don't know what it sounds like he's shooting. He's definitely over here, though. I think there's still gotta be somebody up there. Alright, we are still in the safe zone. We have the jump pad, though, which is still really nice. I'm just gonna try to get to the higher ground right here. Honestly, where I have the best advantage. Look at all these towers that people are building, man. Oh, God, this is such a... Let's go, let's go. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, we're alright, we're alright, we're alright. I know we're not in the safe zone, I know we're not in the safe zone. Dude literally building right there. I'm gonna heal up real quick, and then we're just gonna rush this guy. Because I think we honestly should have a pretty good advantage on him. Shoot, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. No, shoot, dude. This is where I die, man. This is where I die, 100%. Where'd they go? Oh, I'm dead. No! Oh. Oof. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. He's got to be healing up. Oh my god, bro. Shoot. Bro, this is so obnoxious, man. Let's go! Let's go, dude! Okay. Take that, let me take that. Alright, we're gonna be alright, we're gonna be alright, we're gonna be alright. Everybody relax. We are okay. Okay. Tryhard mode has been officially engaged, ladies and gentlemen. Oh god. We are okay. They're fighting right beneath me, I think. Definitely some flesh hits. Let's go, baby! Ho-ho! 12 kill win, man. Common weapons only. Ladies and gentlemen, drop a like. That was like first game on. Not first game on, but first game using that challenge. Going for that challenge. Damn. GG's, man. Yo, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. When you subscribe, you'll see your name up here in the lower right-hand corner. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. That's what I'm talking about. That was intense as hell. That was a pretty intense building battle right there. That one dude. I don't know who that guy was, but that was pretty intense. I didn't end up catching his name, but that was pretty dope. GG's in the chat, guys. GG's. I'm so happy that last dude was an idiot. He's just looking around. He's at the bottom of the base. You know, just looking around. Where is he? Yo, GG's in the chat. All right. I'm low-key totally not freaking out over here. I think we're okay, though. Damn, we almost got 1,200 viewers. You guys are litty. So that's one challenge out of the way. I think I'm going to go ahead. We're just going to play another regular game. We're just going to keep warming up, keep playing. And then, yeah, just gotta go for another W. Another regular W. No limits. But that was the common weapon only challenge. That was awesome. Which GFuel am I drinking? I'm drinking the brand new sour cherry flavor, which is actually really, really good. Yo.
Will you ever play PUBG or H1Z1?
Trocky, I appreciate the 20, man. Holy crap. Thank you very, very much for that. I have played H1Z1. I actually was really obsessed with that game. I mean, it kind of came and went, though, to be 100% honest with you. Just simply because I wasn't, like... I don't know. That challenge for me, that game for me, once the bar was set as more Battle Royale started to come out, H1Z1 just kind of really started to fall for me. I don't know. That was Ninja. You guys are 100% lying. 100% lying. I just saw 3 different people say that was Ninja. You guys can't be that serious. Ninja would have destroyed me. Ninja would have built way better than that. That was not Ninja. You guys are lying to me. No, it wasn't. If that was See, what you guys are doing right now is you're making me think, right? You're making me think like, okay, maybe I should go back and look at the challenge. But Trocky, I really do appreciate that, man. And I haven't really played PUBG, to be 100% honest with you. Haven't really played PUBG a whole lot. I think I have like 27 minutes invested in that game. And then John comes in with a 5. I appreciate that, John. Thank you so much, man. What's up, Paul B? What challenge now? We're not going for a challenge now. Right now, we're just going to go for another, just a regular W. Just kind of cool ourselves down a little bit, and then we'll go for another challenge. But that was the, yeah, that was the common weapon only challenge. That was lit. That was so dope. That was fun, too. That's the most I've ever used the pumped shotgun, too. It wasn't? Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't Ninja. Like I said, guys, Ninja would have absolutely just annihilated me. You seriously shooting at me from up there, dude? What the frick, dude? Holy God, that dude absolutely destroyed me. Man, the game just started.
Everybody's like, it's not Ninja. It's not Ninja, man. Just don't let him fool you. It wasn't Ninja. You don't say, chat. You don't frickin' say, my dude. Yo, so far, this is the common weapon only challenge. Just because I don't trust that guy? That's essentially useless. I'm dead. Wow, I'm actually alive. Okay. Neat. Whew. Okay. Okay. Hello? Everything alright? I think we're A-okay for right now. I love your streams. Yo, thank you, Random. I appreciate that, man. I should do duos with Nick at 30. That dude's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. He is honestly nutty at the game. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't watch his streams a whole lot, but he is insanely good at the game. I don't know, like, honestly. And, like, just from watching Nick, like, I already know he's a confident player. But, like, just to toot his horn even more, he's probably the best builder in Fortnite I've ever watched. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody build and edit and fight as like smoothly as he does. Unless at least in the gunfights that I've seen. Like, he's literally insane. Like, he'd be a really cool challenge up against Myth or Ninja or any of those guys. We'll check the rest of this. No, he's seriously underrated for sure. Bang, bang, bang. What's up, Herman? How you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Here we go. Finally a shotgun, dude. Goddamn. Really wish we had shield right now. I absolutely hate the fact, like, honestly, I don't want to say this was the entire reason, but think about how lucky we got last game with, like, literally everything that we found as far as heals goes. Like, for that common weapon only challenge, there should have been so many situations where we should have died, where literally all the health and shield that we had just saved us so nicely. It was unbelievable. I've never seen that before in my life. What's up, Jason? How you doing today, man? What do I think about Myth? Just asking. I don't have anything against him at all, man. I know, like, I don't know if Ninja actually has beef with him. Freaking serious, dude. That I guarantee I'll give anybody 20 bucks. That was the dude off the mountain. But no, Myth is a really good builder for sure. I want this guy to chase me for. Is he actually not going to? All right, hold on. Oh.
I love zombies and your channel.
Woo. Wow, we should be dead. Yo, thank you so much, Joshua, for the $1.11. I really do appreciate that, man. He says, I love zombies and your channel. Thank you, man. I mean, I'm doing a lot of Fortnite right now, but I appreciate the compliment, buddy, for real. Thank you so, so much. Yo, can we get a Josh spam in the chat? Appreciate the love, my man. Calling it a win right now. Let's not speak too soon, my man, all right? Let's not speak too soon. We have to wait and see. Play with Dakotas? I don't know. I don't think Dakotas knows who I am, man. But Dakotas is a nutty player, too. His snipes, dude. Oh, they, like, give me chills. Like, full body spasms, if you know what I'm saying. Do I have an Alienware PC? No, I use a custom build from iBuyPower. I'm not sponsored by them at all. Like, I hope to be one day. But iBuyPower, they like, so the two gaming PCs I bought in the last 7 years have both come from iBuyPower, and they are phenomenal. I literally can't say enough nice things about them. They're punctual, they work fast, they got me my PC quickly. I had no issues upon delivery. Like, and I know it's only 2 PCs, but for one customer for 2 PCs, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. You're not gonna build it all, bro. Look at that, bro. He's not even building. We're not gonna talk about that. Do I have any buttons on my mouse? Yeah, I do. I have 2 side buttons, man. Don't throw your computer. God damn it, Billiard. See, nobody gets that reference in here anyway. I barely get the reference. I'm a kid. I wish I could donate more, but my mom won't let me. Joshua, no worries, man. The fact that you dropped the $11 means a lot. Yo, Dismo, honestly, I don't even want to hear it, dude. Get out of my Twitch stream. All right, go over to YouTube. Like, why aren't you? I'm just messing. Oh, man. What's up, Pablo? Yo, Cruiser, I was watching you stream earlier today, man. I'm not gonna lie, I was lurking in your chat. You got a 17 kill, I think, or something like that. You RPG'd the last guy and then AR'd him to finish him off. I was watching. I got my eyes on you, man. How much for a shirt? So if you do want to buy some ProHenis merch, if you're curious, it's very interesting that you bring that up. Shop.prohenis.com, link in bio. Link in by description. I think shirts are 24 bucks and hoodies are 48. I know the prices are a little bit insane, but those prices are actually pretty reasonable for all custom, like all YouTuber merch. But I can't make the prices anyways, so. Yo, Pablo, have a good one, my man. Pack is much better? You mean like Pack-a-Puncher? Bro, I'm not trying to like... No, Pack-a-Puncher's good, okay? I'm like... What I'm about to say, like, Pack-a-Puncher is good. He's a good streamer, and he's a good Fortnite player. And, like, I don't even think Pack would argue with this. There's a difference between Fortnite on console and Fortnite on PC. And if you've played both, you'll understand. Like, it's just not natural to aim with a keyboard, or excuse me, with a controller. It's so much easier to aim with the keyboard and mouse, which is why you'll see a lot of the really good Fortnite players, they all play on PC, right? So, last thing I'm trying to do is start drama. You guys know that. But it always irks me when people are like, console's better. Because it's just not true. In my opinion. In my opinion. In my opinion. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Again. You guys know me. I don't throw shade at anybody. Somebody said, hold on, shut it. Guys, this is not an attack on Pack-a-Puncher, okay? Pack-a-Puncher, Pack-a-Puncher is honestly... He's insane. Like, as a YouTuber and as a Fortnite player, like, his grind is nutty. I was watching him earlier, and he already had, like, 4 or 5 wins in the stream. He's a good player, right? You don't get that kind of wins, like, unless you're good. He's a good player. And he pulls the viewership for it, right? Like, the only point I'm trying to make here is that you'll see more better players on PC than you do on console. Not to say that there aren't really good console players, but Henis, the duos record is held on console. Oh, let me reorganize here. Ladies and gentlemen. Whoa. I didn't actually think he was going to hit me. Okay, good. Put that there. What's up, Great Babe? How you doing today, man? Doing a challenge? No, well, not right now. We already did one challenge today. We already did the, whatchamacallit. I might as well, I'll just take another pump. I'm not going to use it, but Jesus, we absolutely annihilated this house. But yeah, we're going to do another challenge shortly after this. Right now, we're just warming up, playing a regular game. Or just, you know, having fun. What's up, Tyrese? How you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the stream, man. After this game, guys, we'll go for another challenge. Start leaving some suggestions in the chat, actually, for what challenge you guys think I should go for. Like, I saw a lot of people saying the no-kill challenge. So that'd be fun to go for sure. I'll be down to go for that. Hey, what's up, John? What's up, Steenfield? Ba-dum-bum-bum-ba. Wish I had some heals right now. The blue only challenge? That's actually another challenge I want to go for. So we did the common only one. How cool would it be now if we did like a Jesus. If we did like a gold only challenge. Like the only weapons we can get had to be gold. I feel like that'd be ridiculously hard. We'd almost have to keep playing until we get the off chance that like Chat, I'll give you 20 bucks. He's right beneath me. What? That is a no-no. Alright, drop that, pick up that, pick up that, pick up that, and pick up that. Rainbow challenge? I've already done sort of like a stupid hybrid of the rainbow challenge, man, to be honest with you. I don't know. Rainbow challenge is... I don't know, it's interesting for sure. Sniper and revolver challenge? There was a playlist for that literally just recently, but... Which I'm sure you know. You're probably just trolling me out here. Yeah. Actually, you know what? No. I don't know why we have a scoped AR, to be honest with you. Probably one of the worst weapons we could be carrying. Anybody just see the... Shots coming from over here. Oh, it's right in here. Yo, what is he doing? You guys see this?
Welcome to the salty spittoon.
Yo, Ryan, thank you so much for that sponsor, man. I seriously appreciate that, my guy. Can we get some Ryan hype in the chat, guys? Shoot. Oh my god, bro. I was not expecting him to be right there.
Win and ill donate $25.
Ooh-wee. Alrighty daddy there, young whippersnapper. Your time is up. Yo, but Ryan, thank you so much for that sponsor, man. Enjoy your emotes, brother. Thank you so much for the dedication and the support and the love. And more importantly, your money. Just kidding. Thank you so much, though, man. I really, really appreciate that. Oh. And we're out of here. No bandages, so that really sucks. Alright. Now, right now, we just need bandages. Mr. Purple Tack. Was there really a purple tack, man? That's all right. But thank you so much to Dynamic Matt for the $1.11, though, man. All right, Pinhead. Your time is up.
Who are you calling a pinhead?
Hey, dude, you mind going for the kid who's, like, right here? Just, like, chilling? Thank you. Appreciate that. Did you kill him? You killed him, right? Yeah, I see you up there. Don't you lie to me. I see you up there. I see you up there on top of Dust Devo. Okay, okay. Here, let me. Whoa! Damn. Okay. What the hell? You a feisty one. Finland. I want to go over and see what this dude had. Just annihilated this man over here. Huh, Whoa. Where are you peeking? Right there? Ooh, I felt like that was right on him, dude. I see him. Henis' famous last words. I see him! Dude! Jesus! This dude's lasering. I have such little time, too. This dude's good. I don't have a jump pad anymore. You guys keep saying purple tack. I don't know where that purple tack is that you're talking about. Alright, bro. I think we're just gonna go for you, man. Like, honestly, I really don't appreciate what you're doing here. I'm gonna hope that you're, like, gone now. And yeah, I think it's a really solid sign that you're not shooting at me. Okay, good. I think you've pushed back now. Which means we're going to be able to shoot you right in the back. What do we got in here? Those bandages? Hallelujah. Please. Thank you. Is that him all the way out there? Watch me hit this shot, chat. Ha! Ah! Oh, no, he's right here. Henis! I hate my life. It's okay. We won't talk about that ever again. Hey, no, it's cool, bro. It's cool. I'm friendly. It's cool, dude. It's cool, man. Nah, it's cool, bro. Oh, damn. Okay. See you later. Oh, you're about to run back into the storm, you freaking idiot. There's not a dude up here. What on earth is happening right now? Wow, I'm not safe. Alright, just one of these and then we're running. And then we are running. I really just want to go for this guy, grab his loot, and then run towards the safe zone. I want the action right now. I'm so sick and tired of this. Just gonna acid this LMGer over here. Please not shoot at me. Okay. Just gonna run right up on this man. Yikers. Bolt action, please. Wow, Henis. Okay. Well, there goes all of our shields, so that's cool. Neat. 4 people left. 6 kills. Possible 9 kill win. There he is, all the way out there. Wait, we didn't... Bro, how did we not pick up the sniper, dude? Relax, everybody. I got this all under control. Finland. Alright, we're gonna be alright, guys. I see everybody spamming gold scar. I already picked it up. A little bit of delay on the chat today, I see. Somebody said hold scar. You mean gold scar, dude? Is that what you meant to say? There's gonna be some idiot to my left coming out of the river. Not an idiot, just another fellow player, another fellow Fortnite player. Okay, guys. Don't get triggered. I'm gonna snipe your dome right off. It's not gonna be fair. Are you really in there? Sick. And here's Buildy McBuilds a lot. Going over there. Sick. So I'm literally caught probably in the worst position I could possibly be in right now. Is that a jump pad up there? Nope. Okay, good. I'm just gonna build right into this dude's base. Alright, you have no clue. Wow, I actually almost lost that gunfight. GG's in the chat list. Holy crap, dude. Wow. 8 kills. I'll take that. I'll take that. Second win of the day. Dynamic Matt donated 9 minutes ago. Donated $1.11 and said, hey, win and I'll donate 25 bucks. You don't have to donate, man. You seriously don't have to donate, but I appreciate the support. Let's get some GG's hype in the chat. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll see your name up here in the lower right-hand corner. Second win of the day? No, third win of the day, right? Is that third win of the day? I actually don't know. Because we won the challenge. We did the common weapon only challenge. We completed that. This was the game after that. I forget, actually. I'm actually not even sure. That's Liddy, boys. That's Liddy. All right, so what's the next challenge that we want to go for? Does anybody have any good challenge suggestions? Like, give me something good to go for. You know what I'm saying? Give me something nutty to try and go for. Oh, that Denver guy. All right, he's alive right now. He's alive right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do one more challenge, guys. We'll probably do 2 challenges in total today, and then I'm just gonna end up grinding. We're just gonna play with some other YouTubers and have a good time. Because I'm gonna have to pick up my dad and my sister from the airport a little after midnight. So it's a good thing that I got my GFuel. So lucky you had a gold, yeah, for sure. Gold definitely helps out a lot. Pistol only sky base challenge. Yo, we could definitely do another sky base challenge. I feel like another sky base challenge would be cool. No building or materials challenge. 100% accuracy. Oh, could you imagine 100% accuracy with Bloom? All right, let me try to scroll through some of these. I'm seeing a lot of no building challenges, but like building is one of my favorite things to do. So I feel like I want to build, you know? Triple pump only. Literally just pump only. 1 chest challenge. Shotgun only. A sky base challenge. There's so many great options. I'm not really sure what to do. All right, I'm going to take some of the most common ones that I see out of the chat here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a Twitter poll. And then you guys are all going to go vote on the poll on Twitter. Okay? So, let me just show you guys. I'm just going to switch over to this. All right. What Fortnite challenge should I complete next? Question mark. All right. We're going to create a quick little Twitter poll. We're going to do... no gun challenge is definitely gonna be one of them. No gun challenge. We're also gonna have the skybase challenge. Skybase, you guys definitely want to see. Skybase challenge. Skybase. Stairway to Heaven. Oh, shoot. You guys are just gonna have to know that's the Stairway to Heaven challenge. What are some other ones? One chest challenge, and we'll throw one more in there too. We'll throw one more. Someone said 14 kill challenge, crossbow only. The battle bus challenge, and then we already have the no kill. Oh, and then well, no kill and no gun. I feel like those are slightly similar. I don't want to do shotgun only or pistol only, because I feel like those have kind of, a lot of those have already been done. You know? Shotgun only, gold only. Floor is lava. And, or, well, we did the one chest challenge. We'll stick with these three right now. We'll stick with these three. You guys will all vote on these. We're gonna make this poll only last an hour. All right, so the poll just went out, guys. My Twitter is @ProHenis. Make sure you guys go over there. Check out that tweet. Hold on, I'll just check my mentions here really quickly, and then I'm gonna pull the tweet up on screen. And then you guys are just gonna go ahead and start voting, I guess. If you guys don't know what my Twitter is, one of my mods can hopefully put it in the chat, or one of the sponsors or something. But my Twitter is just @ProHenis. There's a link in the description down below. So here it is right here. So far it's got 0 votes. Okay, cool, but 3 likes. Let's try refreshing, because I'm pretty sure there are some votes on it. All right, it says 2 votes here. We're just gonna keep refreshing this. I'm gonna go ahead, actually, you know what? I'll post it in my chat right here. I'll go ahead and spam it for you guys. So here's my post right here. So we got Rain Monkey, or Raging Monkey came in with a $1 Canadian super chat. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. If you guys don't have Twitter, unfortunately, you won't be able to vote for right now. Because we're just doing a Twitter poll. 68 votes already. Damn, you guys are going off. Now it's switched back to 4 votes. Wait, what? 1 base challenge. You can only build once. Interesting. The 1 base challenge. Hey, stream. The 1 base challenge. Whoa. I'm not talking to you, Siri. There's a lot of votes for the no gun challenge. Damn. But yeah, make sure you guys drop my Twitter a follow as well. I would appreciate it. What's up, Sam? Another challenge that I saw a lot of people saying was the no sound challenge, which I don't know how boring that would be, because like I think the way I would want to set that up actually is I would just take off my headset and I would still record the audio so you guys could hear the audio. Obviously it would be recorded through the stream, but I just wouldn't be able to hear it through my headset. I think that's what we would do. 144 votes. Damn, this is actually really close. I did not expect everything to be this tight. Jeez. All right. Keep voting on that, guys. We're gonna give it like a couple, like just like 1 or 2 more minutes, and then we're just gonna hop right into the challenge, because I don't want to keep you guys waiting for too long. Every time we refresh it, the amount of votes changes. That makes absolutely no sense. That literally makes no sense. How many coins do I have? You guys can check your coin balance by typing !coins in the chat, and then all the coins you guys can use can go towards giveaways that I do at the end of every single month. Just massive giveaways that I do. Let's see. I'm literally sweating right now, dude. I gotta go ahead and open up like a window or something. I'm literally like, it is hot in this room right now. It's crazy. Okay. 187 votes. Dude, that is so, literally no gun and skybase are both tied. That's crazy. So how is this right now, guys? Like, it is literally probably close to, not negative outside, but it's probably below freezing. It's 34 degrees outside, and it's so hot in this room that I'm in that I actually have to open up a window. I live in Maine, one of the northernmost states in the US. It's literally that hot in this room. 200 votes. All right, looks like the Skybase challenge won, but like, you guys clearly want to see those other challenges too. So I think what we're gonna do, the Skybase challenge, the Skybase challenge won, but we already did that. So I'm gonna do the Skybase challenge again. We're gonna do that this stream, and then we'll do two of these challenges this stream. We're gonna do the Skybase challenge, and then we're gonna do the 1 chest challenge. Those are the 2 that we're gonna do in this stream. No, we'll do the Skybase and the no gun, I guess. Skybase and no gun. We'll try to do both of those in this stream. Oh my goodness. What's up, Mooney? Welcome to the stream. All right, let's do it. Let's stop wasting time. You guys are like, hey, just get on with the freaking gameplay, man. How do you enter the coin contest? So the coin giveaways that I do, they happen at the end of every single month. Let's go into solos, I guess, actually. Bro, you're awesome. Yo, thank you, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, so we do giveaways at the end of every single month. We give away GFuel, we give away merch, we give away gift cards, we do V-Buck giveaways for Fortnite. We do that literally in the live stream at the end of every single month. You guys enter into the live stream through the chat. So all you have to do is just make sure that you're here, make sure that you're a subscriber of the channel, and you just have to be here on the last day of every single month because the giveaways happen in the actual live streams themselves. So that's why it's important for you guys to have on notifications. If you tap the bell icon below the video player, screenshot it, and tweet it at me on Twitter, at ProHenis, I will follow you back. So that's an incentive for you guys. And then if you're following, yeah, so if you have on notifications, that allows you to be one of the first people in here to earn coins. So you start earning coins as soon as the stream starts. So you can have more coins than other people. And you can have more coins than other people. And you can make sure that you're here right when the giveaways happen. So, all right, guys, we're doing the... We're doing the Skybase challenge. We're going to do yet another Skybase challenge. How do you sponsor the channel? If you want to sponsor, there's a link in the description. Your booty looks thick. Dude, I'm going to be honest with you, chat. I'm 5'8" and like 140 pounds. There's no meat here whatsoever. I am like skin on bones practically. So I'm going to Wailing Woods just because I need to get a lot of loot, but... I need to keep my text messages up. Allow. Okay, perfect. Hopefully nobody else comes here. Henis, I sent you a DM. All right, man. I'll be sure to check it out after the stream, Matt. You're the best, dog. Appreciate it, Jasper. Yeah, when you guys subscribe to the channel, you'll see your name up here in the lower right-hand corner. Drop a like as well. We got 822 likes, which is crazy. Thank you so much for that, guys. All right, I'm really hoping nobody else came here. What's up, Lucky? It's cool. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. So we just have to get as much wood as possible. We're going to try to max out 999 wood, and then we're going to get as much brick as possible. And then, actually, we're going to find out if we're in the safe zone in 6 seconds. We got to kind of go from there. What's up, Daddy Dolphin? How you doing today? Leo, Letitia Stas. Welcome back to the stream. Appreciate you coming back in. All right, we're actually really close to the safe zone, which is super nice. Do it first try. We're going to try, guys. We're doing the Skybase challenge. I'm going to build a Sky Fortress, actually. We're going to have some fun with this. I'm going to build a Sky Fortress. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, you get... Don't shoot me, man. No, chill. Chill. Don't. Stop coming to me. Stop. Back up. Stop it. Don't you dare hit me. I'm just looting, bro. Chill, dog. Yo, chill. The hell's wrong with you, dude? Nah, this dude's messed up, man. I gotta find a weapon now and kill this guy. Dude, come on. I'm trying to build a sky base. This is really not what I wanted to have happen right now. Listen, man. Can we just relax here for a quick second? All right. I thought we were friends. He comes over and tries to pickaxe me. There better be a weapon in here in this shed. Dude, come on. Please have a weapon in here. Please, please, please. Nothing. Where did he go? He just stopped. Oh, he's coming after me again. Shoot, dude. Dude, this is literally delaying me time. I could be getting wood right now. This guy's gotta back away, man. Come on, dude. You're such a loser. Go away. Go away. Alright, I'm just gonna go straight inside. Oh, what is this? Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, who's laughing now, man? Who's laughing now? Haha. Haha. Alright, I'm sorry. I ain't trying to be toxic out here, but come on, like, really? Are we actually for real out here, dude? Hold on. Gotta get inside here. Dude, he better not have been a stream sniper, I swear. Here we go. Alright, we're gonna get this some more ammo. Alright, now we gotta really focus on getting a loot. I ideally should have close to 999 wood by now. We got 30 seconds till the storm comes in. And I'm gonna need to get some more wood. I'm gonna need to get some more brick. This is not ideally how I pictured this challenge starting off for us, but you know, it happens. It is what it is. I have to rewind that. Yo, you guys will definitely see that in the video if we actually turn this into a challenge, for sure. If this challenge actually gets turned into a video, which it more than likely will. What's up, JD Foster? Hey, what's up, Shadow? Alright, I should just start moving to the safe zone right now. Alright, I can't remember if it's by the second or third circle we want to start building up. I can't quite remember. You voted for the Sky-based Dragster? Yo, well, your wish came true, man. We're rocking the Sky-base right now. We're actually going to build a Sky Fortress. I changed my mind because I've already done a Sky base, so I might as well do a Sky Fortress. I feel like that'd be really cool. Alright, perfect. Maxed out on that. Actually, hold on. Let me drink these real quick. I'm gonna get up here and try to loot a lot of these. Excuse me, try to loot a lot of these rocks too. Because these rocks will give us a lot of brick. What's up, Daddy Dolphin? Hi, Henis. What did I miss? Just Sebastian, not a whole lot, man. Yo, Cody, shout out to you. What's up, Daniel? How you doing today? Troll, Dan, Duck, Mickey Moz, Angela, Kale, George. Welcome to the stream, guys. Appreciate you all coming out. I'm just gonna try to go for all these rocks up here. This is honestly some of the best like material to get. Are you kidding me? This guy right over there with a sniper. Actually, a sniper would be a really, really nice thing to have if we're going to build a Sky Fortress. We're gonna have to try to get a lot of brick from here too. Hopefully we'll be able to get as much as we can. Actually, can we go over here? I think all this... I can't tell if all this is in the safe zone. We only got 40 seconds. No, I don't think it is. Shoot, so we're just gonna have to loot as much of this as possible. I'll take these bandages and then we'll just be able to heal ourselves up. What's up, Ethan? How you doing today, Pinkie Pie? Yeah, here comes the storm, dude. Shoot, we'll just use the bandages to heal ourselves up. Just go for the far ones here first. Look at all this brick. Look at all this potential brick that we could have gotten, man. That sucks. This is the good stuff too, man. I guess we'll just go chill at cargo. Get as much as we can out of cargo. I'll grab this one. I'll just move. We already got 350, which is honestly pretty good. We're gonna have to heal up. What's up, Batman Body? What's up, Jack? Here we go. Nice. Almost 999 brick right now, dude. That's really solid. Alright, we're gonna go into cargo right now. We have a minute 30. Alright, and then I guess we should... I don't know if we should start building up, like, right as this next storm comes. I forget how the timing all works out. We might want to do that. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, last one. Hopefully this will give us enough. Oh my god, almost. We're so close. There we go. Alright, we're maxed out on brick now. Now we just got to get a lot of metal. I'm gonna grab these bandages right here. We only got 55 seconds. I think we might just have to build up right now. I think we'll just have to go. We honestly don't have enough time. I'll get these 3 crates right here. Look at that. That only gave us 30. That's so upsetting, man. Imagine if these all gave us like 100. It would be perfect. What the heck? Yo, why did that take so many hits? Alright, let me heal up here real quick. We got 20 seconds, and then I guess we're just going to start building up. Ooh, what's that, Matt Grossman? How you doing today, man? Alright, who's ready, guys? Who's ready? Ideally, we want to just hide. We want to hide our base in the storm. So that's why I'm doing this. Oh, this is going to be so exposed, bro. I have to make sure I go slow. I think we're outrunning it just barely, actually. Shoot, no, we're not. I have to be really careful, though, too, because we're going to get close to the building limit here at some point. I really don't want to accidentally run off. I've done that before, and it sucks. Okay, there's the building limit. Nah, we're losing so much damage. Taking so much damage, man. Frick me, dude. No. Get to the safe zone. Go, 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 go. Okay. Doing good, doing good, doing good. Keep her going, keep her going. Look at how much wood we've already used, bro. We are almost maxed out on wood already. That's nuts.
See you later, got go.
Can we sit right here, actually? Are we in the safe zone? Oh, this is perfect. Oh my god, guys. Look what we just did. That's so sick. Okay. Heal myself over a little bit. Yo, look at this dude right down here. I almost wish we had some, like, last time we did this, we had, like, smokes we could throw down at people. How far do we have to go for the next one? Oh, we gotta go so far, man. Alright, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait until, like, not this circle, not this next circle when it closes in, but the one right after that. Oh, these guys are fighting each other. We're just gonna build a little fortress for ourselves. I'm hoping we'll be able to use wood to get all the way over to the... no, we're gonna have to go all the way past factory. Yeah, I don't know. We're definitely gonna have to end up using some brick, unfortunately. It sucks that we've already used this much material. These guys are literally fighting right down below us, but we've literally positioned ourselves, like, perfectly. Trocky, thank you so much for the 2, man. He said, see you later, gotta go. Yo, have a good one, man. Appreciate your donations. Appreciate you coming out. You're an absolute legend. You guys heard that drop, right? I can't even see where the drop is. Is it up even higher? I would imagine we got to be pretty eye level with it. These guys are really trying to snipe each other. Damn. All right, we got 38 seconds. Yo, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and drop a like. We're 3 subscribers away from 260,800 subs. When you guys subscribe, you'll see your name up here in the lower right-hand corner. Oh, we just hit it. Jesus, you guys are showing so much support on the channel right now. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so, so much. And drop a like as well. We're almost at 900 likes. Let's see if we can get a huge hashtag like spike in the chat and get to 1,000 likes. I would really appreciate that, guys. These dudes are fighting like heck, though. This one dude's going to have to move. He's going to be so screwed. I'm hoping they'll be, like, distracted enough by each other that they, like, won't take time to notice me. Whoa, dude, imagine if I just fell off right there. Okay, we gotta switch over to brick now, unfortunately. Already? Which just really, really sucks. I'm playing this, like, so timid right now. Like, I'm locked up to the max. I don't want to get too far out ahead, because then if I'm sticking out a whole lot, like, I'll be easier to spot. So I want to hide as much of my base, or as much of my sky base as I can in the storm. So okay. We moving. Okay. Yeah, see, like, the way I'm moving right now, I'm like moving just a little bit faster than the storm. So oh, what's up? Oh, Cart, how you doing today, my man? We've only got 1 kill. There's 14 people left. Shoot, how close is the storm? Oh, it's right here on us. Okay. Dude, look at how much brick we've used up, man. We're gonna have, like, no more material left for a sky fortress, bro. You gotta be kidding me, man. Ideally, I guess you would do this in, like... Wait, can I sit on... I think this is, like... Oh, no. It's this one we want to destroy. Imagine we just fell off right there. I gotta make sure I have my binding key to heal. Repair upgrade should be Z. Alright, there we go. I want to repair that. No! No. He sees me, dude. I gotta build down. I don't really have a choice. Bro, we're just descending on him. Okay. This is not going as planned. He's not going to be expecting this at all. Bro, what the hell did we just do, dude? Oh my god. Okay, we gotta win the game now. 100%. Like, there's no debate whatsoever. He was gonna destroy the base, like, we had to. We didn't really have a choice. Okay, I need that. Let's drop this. I'm gonna pick up those. Bro, I cannot believe that actually just worked. I'll actually pick up this here real quick. Well, actually, now that we've got all this material, what if we build back up to our base? We got 23 seconds. No, dude, of course that guy had eyes on me, man. Oh, GG's. Good shot by that guy, man. This guy would have had eyes on us perfectly, though. Damn, that was a nice shot. GG's. God damn it, dude. All right, so what we've learned from that is we just need to get a lot more material. We're going to try that again, for sure. For sure. I was about to climb back up, but damn, he got a nasty snipe on us. ProRIP in the chat. How do I donate? There's a link in the description down below, man, if you want to donate to the channel. Always optional, but very much appreciated. Yeah, we're going to do it again, guys. We're gonna go for this again. 100%. What's up, Breaking? How you doing today, Melon? Oh, man. You leveled up? Yeah, I know. We're level 97 now. It's crazy. I'm so close to level 100. I'm so hyped about that. You guys have no idea. I'm hoping nobody else is going to come Wailing Woods. I think the guy that killed us last game is a stream sniper. Excuse me, in all honesty. I think he is. Play with Lachlan? I don't think Lachlan knows who I am. Henis, you should do this with Kenworth so you have more materials. That'd be fun to do in duos, 100%. That would be really, really fun to do. My presentation on you is almost done. Yo, little babe. I appreciate that, man. That's really cool that you're doing that. Like, if you get a video of it or anything, or even if you have, like, a PowerPoint slideshow, like, send it over to me, man. That'd really mean a lot. That'd be cool to see. Oh, Kenny is live on Twitch right now? Alright. I might actually hit Kenny up and ask if he wants to do this challenge. It'd be really, really cool. You should snipe up there? Yeah, the only problem is, like, we'd have to make sure that we get a sniper. Of course this guy's going for this, dude. I'm just gonna try to find a weapon here first. Then, if we're gonna have to worry about that guy. What is this right down here? A pistol? Honestly, better than nothing. This guy's gonna be in there. I think this, if this is the same kid, I'm gonna be like, that's so obnoxious, bro. It's the one thing about streaming when you're going for challenges like this. Alright. Let the wood harvesting begin. What's up, Gavin? Don't say God damn it. I'm sorry, man. It's too much of my vocabulary to say God damn it. If that offends you, I'm sorry. It's nothing personal, and I'm not trying to, like, not trying to insult any, you know, not trying to insult God or anything. And I know people don't like, you know, Lord's name in vain. It's just something I say, man. Nothing, no hate behind what I'm saying. It's just what I say. Mason, you're at school right now? Bruh. On what planet are you still at school? What time zone are you in, I guess? Yeah, I guess if you're far enough on the east side of the world. Probably. Alright, we're in the safe zone, which is really nice. That's ideally what we want to have. But we're not actually, yeah, we're pretty close to the edge of the safe zone too, which is nice. So that means the next safe zone, when it finally comes in, that'll probably be our ticket to start building up. It's a very bad habit. I don't think saying goddamn it's a very bad habit, guys. Alright, I'm not trying to trigger anybody, but like, that's not like a room stopping word. Like if you say goddamn it, you're not like, I don't swear, you know? I don't know. Henis Kenny is a Red Sox fan. Nasty? Oh, dude, I don't think I can play Fortnite with him anymore because of that. Are you serious? Is he actually... Yikes, that's gross. That's actually gross. I don't even know if Kenny follows baseball that seriously, so he may just say that just to say it, but who knows. Maybe he actually is like a diehard Red Sox fan. I don't know. What's the challenge? We're trying to build a sky base, guys. Trying to build a sky base. Gotta go, Henis. Good luck, yo, Mike Money. Appreciate it, man. 1K likes, keep up the good work. Damn, you guys are nutty. Thank you so much for 1,000 likes. I seriously appreciate that. Alright, then we can grab all this brick here too. This is what we like to see, guys. What we like. What's up, Angela? Am I a Yankees fan? Yes, I am. Born and raised. Alright, max out our wood. Now, if we can max out on brick and then get a lot of metal too, that'll be ideally what we'd want. Oh, a supply drop right there too. That's nice. We can actually get some good weapons. Right now we only got this stupid pistol, but we'll definitely go for that. That would actually be really fun. Imagine if we get an RPG, we could just start launching that down on people from our base. That'd be so funny. Oh my god. We could probably launch it from like up on our sky fortress that we're gonna build, and people won't even be able to like see us, you know? Like we'd shoot the rockets down at them, and they won't even hear the rockets go off because we'll be so far away from them. We'll be so high up in the sky, so that when they get hit by them, they'll be like, "What the hell? Where'd that come from?" You know. And then unless they look straight up, like they probably won't see us. You know. What's up, Ryan? How you doing today, bud? Please tell me how to dominate. Yo, just lots of practice, man. I mean, lots of practice and get really good with building. Getting good with building has been... Yikes, bro. I heard his footsteps at, like, the last second. Oh, my God. That was actually really bad. What the hell was he doing, dude? Gotta focus on getting the good loot right now, though. We can't slow down. We just gotta keep moving. Bro, why didn't he start shooting me sooner? That's so weird. We didn't lose like any health right there. That wasn't the same guy from earlier, unless he... Oh, no, that could have been, actually. That could have been the same guy from earlier. No skin? It's possible. What's up, Eric? Kenny knows what's good? Yo, Kenny's actually... Yeah, Kenny's ridiculously good at Fortnite. For real, he actually is. How do I get better? Just practice getting really good at building. That's honestly one of the biggest tips I can give to anybody. Get really, really good at building.
Remember me.
Falcon Gamer, yes, I do remember you, man. Thank you very much for your 50. And dude, I was complaining yesterday about people who asked, like, do you remember me? Because like when people ask that question, it implies that like I forget people. And like if you guys come by to the stream, and especially if you donate, and if you're in here every single day and you talk, and I've said your name like out loud before, chances are I remember you. You know, especially like obviously the more times I say it, the greater chance there is that I remember you. But like I remember people, so. Damn. There's our sniper, guys. That's what we wanted. I was going to go for that drop from earlier, but I guess we're not doing that anymore. Should I reload this? And I guess we're just going to jump right down to the here. Oh, this chest. Wait, is that the bottom of the chest? Oh, no way. You can actually see the chest from underneath. That's kind of neat. Ooh, I'm going to take those. Think about how much we'll be able to screw with people once we're up in that base. We got 34 seconds. We're still in the safe zone, too. Damn, we are getting like no metal from this at all. This is so slow. Sounds so weird. The noises it makes are almost satisfying in a way. Look at this. Damn, we're getting a lot of metal right now. This is dope. Damn, we have 400 metal. Am I the owner of Heinz Ketchup? No. What? Dude, that's actually gonna make some people laugh, bro. I get called Heinz Ketchup all the time. People are like, oh, Heinz Ketchup, dude? ProHenis, Heinz Ketchup. It's like, dude, come on, man. Bro, look at how much we've been grinding metal, and look at how little metal we have. That's actually crazy. Alright, we got a lot of material right now. Wait, Bear just said duos? Yo, Bear, I'm trying to do a skybase challenge right now, man. Oh, we gotta go here, so we got 25 seconds. Okay. We're gonna get the rest of this, and then we're just gonna go. Damn, it sucks that we're actually this close to the safe zone. Should I actually want to run away from the safe zone? When you really think about it. ProHenis Ketchup? ProHenis Ketchup, dude. That's me. Alright, we're honestly in a pretty good situation right now. Not gonna lie. I want to start from a high point. So I'm just gonna get right up here. Alright, give it a little bit of time here. Here comes the storm. Here comes the storm. Do 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 do. Alright, it's kind of nice that we're going a little bit of an angle. This will allow us to get up a little bit higher. We're gonna get spotted though. That's my only worry. Please don't tell me. No. Bro, why didn't it build, man? I'm clicking and it's not building. Why is it not building, bro? RIP's in the chat, dude. How did that not build? Alright, we're gonna give this one more attempt. We're gonna give this one more attempt, and then if this doesn't work, I'm just gonna go ahead and play with. I'm just gonna go and play some duos with Kenny. Let me go ahead and message him right now, actually. Where is he? Where's the little rascal? Let's get some rip in the chat, dude. Like, that's just one of those, honestly, one of those just weird building things in this game. Yo. Want a duo? Nice forehead. Yo, thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's beautiful. What's up, Dodo VT? If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll see your name appear in the lower right-hand corner, and drop a like as well. We already got over 1,000 likes. Thank you so much for that. You guys are crazy. I just messaged Kenny, guys. Hopefully he'll respond here soon. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. What's up, Preston Holmes? Am I a YouTuber? Or how are you a YouTuber? What do you mean? What kind of question is that? Anybody can be a YouTuber, dude. Henis, you got a college crush? Bro, nah, all the ladies got a college crush on me, dude. Is this dude actually going to Wailing Woods again? I think this is the same kid, bro. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This kid, 100%, 100%, same kid. Look at this. Same no skin, same everything. Guarantee he's not going to Tomato Town. He's going to go past it. Watch. There's another kid over here, too. Maybe that's him. No, this guy's going to Tomato Town. Yeah, this dude's going to Tomato Town. This is not the same guy. Or no, they're both going to Tomato Town. Okay, thank goodness. Yeah, that's right. Don't you dare come over here. Maybe think about it. We're actually going to land perfectly right at this tree. Holy crap. Calculated. Should have probably... We should just push deep into Wailing Woods right now to try to, like, grab a weapon. I think there's a weapon over there in that shed. And honestly, guys, when I play with Kenny, we'll probably end up going for the sky-based challenge. We're definitely going to go for the sky-based challenge, I think. Oh, look at this. Look at where we are in the safe zone, guys. Damn. So this is like going to cut off Wailing Woods here pretty soon. All right, a pump shotgun. I mean, hey, it's better than nothing for right now. How many coins do I have? You can check your coin balance at any time by typing, or you can check your coin balance once every 10 minutes by typing !coins in the chat. Or you can go to the bot homepage, or the actual official page for my bot. If you go to coins.prohenis.com, it'll ask you to log in with your YouTube account. And when you log in with your YouTube, you'll be able to check and see how many coins you have right there, too. All right, already 400 wood. We're almost halfway there. We get all this wood, then we're going to get all this brick. And we're just going to build the nastiest sky base ever. And this time, we're actually going to, like, click. And not gonna mess up, and we're actually gonna build. Unbelievable. I just got shot at. Look how far away this dude is, man. What's his grand plan here? Ooh, that one skimmed me a little bit. All right, I see you, dude. I see you. Just trying to get some wood here, bro. Come on. Can you stop trolling me? This dude's got to be a troll. Has to be. Bro, are you serious, man? Look at this guy, bro. Come on now. You can't even see me if you destroy that. Yo, run towards me. This is the same troll, dude. Unbelievable. This guy's so obnoxious. I don't know what to do. I can't rush him. I can't really shoot back. I don't know what to do. Where's that drop, actually? Alright, over there. Alright, I think he ran away. Probably just up there continuing to troll me. This dude's gotta just frick off, though, man. Hopefully he doesn't decide to shoot at me anymore. That guy's gotta be a stream sniper, though. You've gotta be kidding me, man. That's so lame, bro. Oh my god. Dude, alright. I want to build this Sky-based challenge with Kenny because, like, I just can't do this. I can't do this alone right now. Alright. Is Kenny live right now? Oh, yeah, he's playing. He's got to be live. 100%. Hold on, guys. We're going to go to his stream. You're going to click? Oh. There we go. He's live right now. Oh, he's playing with Acidic Blitz. Oh, he's wearing a Red Sox hat. That's what you guys were talking about. Okay. Hey, nerd. Want a duo? Or actually, no. If he doesn't want to, since he's doing duos here, I might just play with Ocean and Billiard. That's probably what I should do. Let's see what he says, though.
What do you get for the drop? Anything cool?
Legendary bolt. That's all. So, not bad, not bad. Wish we would've gotten a chug jug or something to get my health back.
Here, take this.
Somebody said, "Wow, Henis just called you the N-word." What? What? What's Kenny's Twitch? TBNR Kenworth, guys.
Once again, thank you guys for the new sub. Okay, Miss Zombie, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Let's go, baby. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Henis, after this game, man, let's play some squads.
Eagle Eye, just noticing
Yo, you want to play some squads with Henis and Billiard after this?
Oh, damn.
He's really good.
Damn.
God squad.
But we're
Yeah,
just...
yeah. Let's go, baby.
blocking
Henis after this one, man.
We're blocking out Ocean, dude.
I was in my chat. I saw Henis was online, and you guys play a lot. So I was like, I bet we're gonna play squads later with him.
Dude, I feel bad now because he was like, "Oh yeah, just like, god damn it." I haven't played with Ocean in a while, dude. What's up, Luis? How you doing today, man? I don't know what to do now, chat. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and play one more though. We're just gonna go ahead and do a regular solo, I guess. Keep ourselves warmed up here. We're gonna do the shooting test. Play an actual game and like actually go in, like actually kill people. You know what I'm saying? You just got bowed. I actually got crossbowed. That's a sexy hoodie right there. Would you get it? You're welcome. Yo, Master Gamer. Interesting that you bring this up, man. It's a very nice hoodie, right? You kind of like the nice H. Interestingly enough, this H stands for Henis, and you can get this on shop.prohenis.com. Link in by description. Click it and give me your money because I'm poor. Play with Avery. Is Avery streaming right now? Let me check. Well, no, because we're gonna be playing. I mean, yeah, I'm just curious if is Avery streaming right now? Somebody just let me know. I'm not gonna go check. I don't have a good way to check right now. Somebody just tell me in the chat if he's streaming. Play with Ninja's Hyper. No, Avery was just in the chat earlier. There's no way he can be streaming. He doesn't stream this late. Avery was just in the chat earlier when I got that common win. That's the sexiest hoodie I've ever seen, bro. You know what the best part is? If you guys buy merch while I'm streaming, I'll go out of my video for the morning. Ocean, I feel bad, man. But okay. But yeah, if you guys buy merch while I'm streaming, an alert will come up on screen. Henry, listen, I used to watch both of these dudes we were about to play with. Like, what the... Bro, That's pretty lit, actually. That's pretty lit. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're going Tilted Towers. Let's get it, baby.
Welcome to the salty spittoon.
Yo, Chosen Pig, you came in with a $2 earlier. I'm sorry about missing that. And then you came in with a sponsor. Thank you so much, Chosen Pig. Yo, let's get some Chosen Pig hype in the chat, man. Thank you so much for the support. Or actually, if there's a pig emoji, can you guys just spam the pig emoji? I would appreciate it. Oh, he is live. Oh, okay. Liddy. Liddy. Maybe we'll run into him. Is he playing squads? He might be playing with Typical Gamer, actually. Because I know Typical Gamer streams late. Literally nothing in Clock Tower, my dude. Alright, you guys want to see a cool strat? Watch this. Okay, never mind. That wasn't the cool strat. This is... I'm not doing a cool strat right now. Okay. Yikes. There's so many people up here right now. Yo, thank you very much for the pig emojis, guys. I appreciate it. Gotta be upstairs. Have to be. We don't have a shotgun, though, so we're kind of death-wishing ourselves right now. But that's okay. That's all part of the fun, right? Alright, yeah, sick. Just, honestly, just give me everything that I need. Like pistols, you know? This dude sounds like he's right beneath me or right above me or something. I don't have enough building material. You gotta be kidding me. I don't have any building material. We're playing another one. We're playing another one. No, I don't want to report you. Alright, we're gonna do one more. Because Kenny will probably be done with this game here pretty soon. Oh. Never mind, he's ready now.
Oi. I heard him join the little pop. Did you hear that?
Hello?
Wow.
Hello, I'm here to play some Fortnite.
Your voice was so quiet there for a second. I was like, hello?
I thought I was a child.
Hey.
It is.
I am a child.
He's a stream sniping child, dude.
Wow.
Hey, to be
Alright,
fair,
how long...
depending on his age.
When will
Bro,
I
your
live that
comments
down?
are savage, dude.
Yeah, they really are.
For a second, I thought I was in a Minecraft video comment section.
Yo, what's up? Love those Minecraft
God.
video sections.
Bro, I put Stream Sniper as a joke in his comments, and like
Bro.
every internet warrior was like, "You play Minecraft."
Yeah, I saw that
Every
It's
comment.
like the straight up insult. Like, if you play Minecraft, your point is irrelevant.
Oh yeah. Billiards in general, you could
I got
join
you,
in.
Billy.
Oh man, that's too funny, dude.
You play Minecraft.
You play
Hey,
Minecraft.
sorry.
Hello.
I'm gonna give you a roll so you can just move in. Here.
What was that, Kenny?
It stopped me from hiccuping.
I gotcha. Alright, good strats, good strats.
Yeah, I'm all about those pro strats, bro.
Oh, I know.
Minecraft player.
I know all about pro strats.
Haha, I get it.
Get
Did
it?
you penis?
What'd you just? Hello?
What?
Did I join the wrong Discord?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why
Okay.
not?
Yo, Kenny.
G1 family-friendly Christian stream. You can't be saying that.
Kenny, I'm not gonna lie. Your comment on my video today made me laugh out loud. It made me lol.
Well, I don't even know what it was.
When you were, it was the one where we did like the sky trap challenge, and you were like, "Damn,
When are you
who's the
going
link to your
to
teammate who clutched that up at the end? He must be really good."
That guy's really good.
Oh, yeah, it's really good.
My bad, dude.
No, it's funny. I pinned it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I
I
was
did.
trolling around. I figured you'd delete it. I was like, okay, I'm ready. Actually, I was more ready for the comments. Minecraft player.
You want to go salty or tilted? What are we thinking?
Oh, tilted.
Let's go tilted.
Oh,
I'm
tilted,
down.
100%. All right. I like that.
That should be an easy 40 kill squads game.
You got this, yo.
Honestly,
Elite
we
Force
got
says we're gonna get
32
this.
Yesterday?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wait, was it yesterday? Was it? That was the day
Or was
before,
it?
I think.
It was like 3 days ago. 3 days ago, something like that. No, yesterday we got a 28. We got a 28 yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all the teddy
Stuff,
bear.
please.
That means we're gonna all win easy.
There's a whole team landing on that
Not
tower.
Nah, guys, we're just gonna do regular
Tower,
squads
I
for right now, and then
Okay, Kenny.
we might do challenges later.
It's me. You're fine.
I got a pistol.
I lag in this footing so hard. I'm an AR.
Turn off your building lag.
Okay, let me do
Setting
that
in
real
your
quick.
options.
It's a setting to turn off building lag.
I hate that building lag.
Did you see
option. I always
consoles
turn
getting
on.
performance mode, aka they turned off shadows?
Let's go,
Did they
console.
really? Well, I see that they're getting
yes, man.
yeah, I saw that they're removing or that they're adding 60 FPS support.
Yeah, that's why.
Go console.
which is nice.
Yeah, that's actually pretty dope. Like I'm
It
happy for
is.
him.
Yeah.
You know, moving up in the world.
Happy for all you console plebs. You guys are really doing some good work.
Dude, just yesterday you were defending him so hard. Like, I love
What?
console. That's my favorite platform. Oh,
I don't ever remember
I had it
that.
recorded.
In fact, I actually roasted console today on stream.
Did you?
Yeah, I
Don't
did.
roast, man. Don't
You
roast.
better watch out.
Bro, nah.
Nick Merckx will literally punch you in the throat.
Bro, he would
Bro,
destroy
he
me.
would fold me in half.
He would, Bro,
Have
whatever.
you seen that guy?
Yeah, he's massive.
Yeah.
Bro, whatever dimension we're in right now, he would just
You're a
send me out
Minecraft
of
player,
it.
Just combo him.
Yeah, I'll combo him. Let's go.
Easy.
Just
No one else will not even
combo
use-
him. I have no idea
Yeah,
what that
10
means,
hard
to be honest. Oh no.
Oh, 10 hearts. Yeah, there's 2 people in my building. I don't care. Oh, guys, yeah. Get down killing
Let's go, billiard.
Easy.
How
Is
does
that,
no one break this roof?
is that just above me or below me?
Where they at? Let me at him. I don't die in this
If
game.
I get the kill, oh my god. Oh, guys, I got a shotgun.
Don't worry, guys. I'm coming soon.
Where are they?
Oh, in here?
That's
Where
good.
are you?
Okay, yeah, shotguns are great, dude. I love
Are you
shotguns in this
upstairs?
game. No, bottom. Why would you
Oh
just
my
come in
God.
like that? Okay.
Don't worry, guys. I'm coming.
You said you're at bottom.
Oh god.
Bottom.
Where they at?
Right there. There's a guy. Oh, easiest kill of your life, bro.
What the heck? Why are they all dead?
I don't know.
I only shot one.
No. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Shout out to my
Oh god.
Just
Are you
build.
kidding
Oh my
me?
god, those shots. Hey.
Hey, I'm actually yeah, I'm alive. Yo, somebody come down to the first floor. Like I'm literally right on the first floor. Yeah, right here. I'm just gonna crawl around the corner right here.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
All right.
I'm just gonna go on Twitter for a little bit.
I can keep an eye. Yeah, I can keep an eye to your to the right here. See if anybody comes in. I got bandages
That's where I was
and
looking.
potions, so I'll be all right.
You got potions? Strength 2 pot?
I got only one mini.
Oh no.
Wait, what? Is this a reference I don't understand?
Yeah.
You're fine.
Okay. I'll just ignore it.
Oh, one out here.
What's up, Solviant?
I think he went out. I think he went second floor.
Yo, Chosen Pig, thank you so much for the 2. He says, shout out to my teacher, Mrs. Gates. Yo, shout out to your teacher, Mrs. Gates, dude.
I'm lost. I'm lost. I don't know where he's at.
Don't worry.
Hey, Henis.
Taken
Nice
care of,
kill.
guys.
I mean, good calls. Good calls. Quality.
I gotta finish healing up here.
Oh.
Oh my god, there's so much stuff here. What do I loot?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm so scared.
Shots fired, shots fired.
Don't say these. Where's that chest? What's over here? Watch your computer playing nerds. Hey, you watch your tone. I'll have you know, my dad does karate. And he's a black belt. What do you gotta say about that?
Damn. You know, I took karate as a kid.
I
Wait,
have
what am
Jake
I?
Paul on speed dial. Do you want a box? He'll drop you.
Oh,
Do an
man.
MMA fight.
You know what? Honestly, I'm
Poke your eyes out.
gonna be 100% honest. I want to know your guys' opinion on this too. I can't be the only one that thinks that if Logan Paul and KSI actually got into a fight, I think Logan Paul would win.
100%. I do too.
Logan Paul is a tank of a human
I
being.
think
Like
Jake
he is.
would lose.
I think Jake would
Logan
lose,
is
but
the
Logan
beast.
is Logan is a massive individual.
Yeah, he's
like,
pretty big.
he's just a
And
buff-
He went to
yeah.
state in wrestling like twice.
Yeah, he's. I feel like he could withstand some hits for sure.
Some people are just naturally gifted at sports.
Right. Well, he's got the size
Sorry,
and the
Billiard.
weight to just.
I'm crying, don't worry.
But there's always video games.
Yeah,
Right.
esports,
There's
bro.
always esports. Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, it's a sport.
Yeah, bro.
Wait.
I'm not clickbaiting.
Wait a minute. Esports is a sport?
Yeah, bro.
I think so. If people are getting paid salaries, I think that's considered a sport. Right? No?
I mean,
No.
maybe.
It's definitely a sport on the mind. Maybe not so much physical. Then again, playing
Well,
like
I mean,
that
it is
long every
physical.
day-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
No, I
physical.
got arthritis right now.
Like, my wrist moves so fast when I'm playing.
I should be in like 60.
Dude,
man.
guys, I'm not gonna lie, this gameplay is top tier quality.
I have 1 kill. Are you guys rocking it, dude?
I got.
I'm dead,
I got 2.
I got one.
That was like the worst Tilted Towers experience ever. We lost a player, we all have like 1 kill. What are we doing? Oh my god. I feel like everybody else just killed each other and we got like the leftovers.
Somebody said I think they would both win. That's not really how a fight works, but you know, whatever.
Knock each other
Nah,
out?
that
I
is-
mean, I've seen it happen.
Bro, it'd be a draw.
Imagine if they both took a swing at the same time and just knocked each other out.
Finish with a game of rock, paper, scissors.
Nah,
and wake up.
you see how KSI wrecked him LMAO? He wouldn't stand a chance. I mean, like, yeah, there is a lot of strategy to it, and obviously KSI has the experience, but, like, I think they're just, like, there's definitely a size factor,
Jake
too.
did fighting, too.
Well, yeah, but...
Like, he actually did MMA fighting.
Did he actually?
Or Logan.
Jake. There's, like, videos on it, isn't there?
I like how this is our conversation.
I don't know.
I'm excited. I want them to do it. I think it would be
bro, that would get so many
I would
views.
love if they do it, yeah. I'd watch it.
Bro, I'd
watch it.
I'd title my Fortnite streams Logan Paul and Jake Paul fight.
Hey, did you ever hear
I would
about the
just
guy
stream
who did
watching
that?
the fight.
There's a guy streaming the UFC event, and he just put his webcam over it.
Right.
And had his controller like he was playing.
And he had his controller like, dude, that's so funny.
Bro, does that go over playing a boxing? It's like, and here's my creative character, Jake Paul.
Like, yeah, that guy,
Really realistic.
that was really popular with the Mayweather and McGregor fight, and then Discod copied it and did it for the Logang, or for the, oh my god, for the KSI, for the KSI and Joe Weller fight.
Caught it!
Caught it! He's part of the Logang.
Yeah. In this forest.
Okay. Guys, I'm not part of the Logan. KSI would kick his butt. Alright, guys. We're just gonna have to let the fight speak for itself, guys. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, you know?
One to left.
Yeah.
Come on,
I hit him with 3 sniper shots.
They're pushing up. They're pushing up. One's at the tree.
Oh, you're not saving your friend. It's over for him.
Rude.
They're building. They're pretty good builders. One's behind the tree right there, Kenny, to your right.
You think I'm scared?
Are you kidding me? I just shot my
Kenny's
base,
a
bro.
pretty good builder, too. You can spam that left click.
Yo, there's
Oh, you got that guy! I was waiting for him to peek.
Yo, there's a team at Dusty, too. There's a team at Dusty.
Hi.
I'm healing.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Oh my god, another one?
Oh my god. Dude.
These guys are actually insane.
Just go back up.
Oh no.
I don't have any. I only have a burst, bro. I only have a burst.
Hey Henry.
Yeah, what's up, bud? Where are you?
What's up, man? Behind you.
Hey, yeah, just give me a quick second.
Okay, fine.
This guy's good. He's burst. Got him.
Yeah, he's real good, dude.
Nah, he was.
I'm messing with you. I said that because I killed him. Would have been awkward if I died.
Both of the
get the guy
Paul
in
brothers
Dusty
would
Depot?
win because they had a wrestling advantage when they were little.
Nah, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I don't think that means anything either. But Boston, hold on, don't jump out.
At basketball. Now I'm older, and I still suck. Huh. Maybe it's just me.
There was a fight going on at Dusty Depot here too. I think there's one team here. I'm gonna drop.
That's what I was saying. I killed one guy.
I dropped 2 mini potions right there if anybody who needs it.
Where?
To your left, dude. There you go, right in front of you.
Oh, I thought that was a flower. Neato
Pretty
burrito.
glowy flower.
6'6", 245 pounds of pure muscle, says someone who's not even 6 foot. How'd you know? What the heck?
Wait a minute, Kenny, you're
Him.
not 6'8" and 280 pounds.
Bro, I totally am, bro.
Kenny, you don't bench 350?
Bro, I eat the gym bills.
You eat the gym. What'd you just say?
They're called like dumbbells, I think. I eat them.
You
I
call them the gym bills?
They're called the gym.
Yeah, 'cause-
they're called the gym bills, I think. I don't know. I've never been to the gym before.
Bro, like I totally don't even know because I'm too buff to care. Anybody makes fun of me, I just break
Bro,
their
I just lift heavy things, dude.
head. Bro, I eat lasagna every day.
Wait,
And
what about
tuna.
nails?
I eat nails. I eat a box of nails. Oh, hey, shots over here by me, ladies and gentlemen. And up we go, about to snipe this guy in his afro.
Where are we looking? What direction?
I actually don't know.
I
I
think
think that's where it came from.
Oh no. 177.
What number is
In
that?
Dusty. In Dusty.
I'm in Dusty. What?
Yeah, it's in the corner.
Wait, you took that? What?
Banked him. Toasty the toaster.
Get a shot.
Bro, you're dead.
Yeah, because you let me die, bro.
Hey, is there a purple tack over there that I see?
Yeah. There's like 4 of them around here somewhere. One
Oh.
shield. Oh my god, this guy's not even gonna see this happening.
Yeah, watch out. Storm's coming
I
here
don't
too.
even see that guy.
Oh shoot.
Oh, behind!
He's on
On
top.
top of Dusty.
I'm stuck! I'm stuck! I'm alive!
I got him.
You probably eat lasagna, kid!
Actually, wait, hold on. I'm actually gonna pick up those nades.
Got him.
Oh, nice.
Billiard. Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, I stole that kill.
Yeah, watch out for
I'm
the
gonna be honest, you did.
Watch
But
out
you
for the
actually
storm
probably
here,
saved me
too.
'cause that guy was building like a wizard, dude. I got the big pot over here.
young, dumb, and broke. Slow mode
That's a
off.
tree in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, person right at the mountain here. 255 coming out of the storm. 255, literally right at the storm. Barry right here. See him running.
No eyes, no eyes.
Headshot.
33.
Headshot. Yeah, he's weak.
There was a guy in the tree to your right, Henis.
So weak, dude.
Not like this. Huh, I'm gonna make it. Why am I taking damage? My head's out of the border. Hacks.
No. No.
Oh, not like this.
Bro, he's
What an
so
idiot.
weak, bro. Are you? Whoa.
You guys dead?
Nope.
I like to hear.
Another guy coming out of the storm right here. Yeah, right down
He
here.
went downhill. Got him.
Stuff. Was the other guy in the storm still, or did he die?
Oh, baby. I'm guessing he is our dead.
I guess he must have died.
I have another.
Henis, don't scratch your nuts. Sorry, guys.
Anybody got one of them campfires?
There's a med kit down here.
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, there's 2 med kits actually. Yo, Billiard and Kenworth. I got med kits for you dudes.
Billiard and
cool.
Kenworth. You ever call me that again? I'll punch you.
Henry, here, bud.
You can call me Jerry.
Oh, damn.
That's my real name.
What's up, Russell? Hey, Henis, your balls are showing. All right, chat. Are we done with that, please?
Are they really? Did you get it? Like, honestly, fix
Dude,
that.
honestly, I gotta. Sorry,
What
guys.
angle you got there?
Listen,
That's what I
dude.
keep telling them.
My angle's fine, bro. There's nothing wrong with the angle. Shows the keyboard, shows me. I think it's a nice angle. I think it's
Hey,
lit.
Henis,
What?
your balls are showing.
Honestly, bro, I'm so over it. I'm actually over it.
You're breaking guidelines, Henis.
Banned.
Listen,
Did you know that?
if Logan Paul can upload dead bodies to the internet, I think I can show my balls on stream.
Close?
No, I'm really far away.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You see him, Kenny? What do you mean?
I do? I don't see it.
Yeah.
Where?
See,
Imagine if that
over
hit.
This hill now. He was going. Yeah, see him right there.
I think he's
Oh
just.
my God.
I think he's just running with a pistol out. In all honesty.
Take a chance. He was AFK.
Stop moving!
He was got like a
Thank
400
you.
IQ.
No!
What?
No! I hit him twice!
Don't mind me, guys. I'm just
Sniper
gonna
sucks balls.
loot some more trees here.
Don't worry, guys.
I got him. That guy was like a bot. He was literally
Oh.
AFK.
You guys,
We just jump padded. Aw.
I did.
What's up, big nasty? I mean, thank you.
I saw a sniper.
I'm going for the jump pad.
Your balls are showing. Your eyeballs.
Keep it zoomed in on my face? Nah, guys. That's awkward when I had it zoomed in my face. I think this is more natural. You guys all gave me
Keep it
positive
zoomed.
feedback on this one.
This is another semi.
Where do we want to go?
Yeah. Over this game. Probably in the zone. I'm over here by Bill.
Yeah, I'm over here.
Tomato.
Oh, shoot. Tomato Town? Okay, coming.
Yep.
You got a friend at me.
Hit him once. North.
Don't worry, guys. I'm just going in straight at high octane.
I like it.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, I want an explanation.
One on the left.
Yep.
Hit him, hit him. Oh my god, hit him 2 more times.
Are you kidding me, bro? How did they get me? He's gonna kill me. He's gonna shotgun me. Guys, he's down here. He's gonna kill me. I'm all the way down here.
What are you doing?
Bro,
It's like you're playing
the
solo.
afterlife, Henis.
Bro,
We have cupcakes.
Hit that guy on top
Oh,
for 50. He
wait.
just showed up.
All
The right side, the tower.
All right, chat. You know what? I don't even want to hear it.
He jumped down.
I don't know
Oh my God,
how.
you're insane.
I don't know how that guy took that many shots. Like that was just insane.
4 damage.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yo, if you guys are new to the stream, though, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are
People
new.
down in the town.
There's
apparently,
11 people
'cause,
left. Yo,
that
type
Henis kid died.
Type 1 in the chat if you guys think I'm gonna win this game. Type 1 in the. I can't stand this kid. Type 1 in the chat if you guys think they're gonna win this. Type 2 if you think they're gonna lose it. Yo, I love you too, man.
Thanks, man.
They're like on the west side.
West side died and not.
Imagine.
Do I play basketball? No, I don't play basketball, man. But yo,
behind that
1 in the
apple,
chat
I
if they're
think.
gonna win,
Yeah.
2 if they're gonna lose. Put your
Let's go,
votes in the
dude.
chat right now. Let's see what's gonna happen.
Oh god, guy in that base north. You see him?
Yep.
Watch it, dude. Peek up again. I dare you. You're dead. Yeah, that's
Think
what I
he just
thought.
fell.
Ow.
What's up, Cali Gamer? How you doing today? Henis, I love you. Your royalty, I love you too, man. All right, yo, I see a lot of ones in the chat. I see a lot of ones in the
People building
chat.
everywhere, dude. There's people
Yo,
at the
everybody
side.
over in the Twitch stream, I appreciate it. If you guys didn't know,
Oh
I am.
my god, you're insane.
If you guys didn't know, I am live over on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/proHenis. Go drop me a follow over there if you prefer watching on Twitch, because I am trying to grow my Twitch channel as well. So if you guys drop me a follow over there, twitch.tv/proHenis, would really appreciate it. Link is in the description down below. There's also a link in the cards in the upper right-hand corner. Billiard's about to get some nasty snipes, I feel it. Actually, we're going to watch Kenny here. Go ahead and keep them muted for right now. Henis, you're the best YouTuber, no lie? Nah, dude. I try my best, though, man. I try my best. I appreciate the compliment. For real, for real. Make some magic happen. Because I died? Yeah, I died. All right, I think there's more ones than twos in the chat. Oh, imagine if Kenny got that no-scope. That would have been so amazing. I think there's people who was right, too. I don't know if he knows. I got faith in these guys, though. I got faith. I'm muted now.
Still at the RV thing.
Okay, I'm coming to safe zone. Just have to protect this.
I'm gonna need you guys to win.
Yes, it does cost money to sub on Twitch, but you guys can just follow the stream. That's all I'm asking you to do. Is just drop it a follow. What's up, man? He says, I like that you're humble. I try, man.
He's weak.
I have to go by.
Yo, Chosen Pig. Have a great one, man. Thank you so much for your $2 donation. Thank you so much for all your support tonight. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, no, behind.
You're a legend.
I think on top of this that we were on before.
Okay. I think they were trying to push up. Maybe?
Guys to the right.
Yep.
He's left side.
Oh.
Yeah, keep in mind the storm, too. They're going to get pushed up by the storm, so.
Yep.
And here goes my base. Okay, get that guy. I'm gonna look to our right a little bit here.
Oh my god.
You knocked out two? Oh,
To
to left,
left,
Yeah,
left.
yeah. Oh, that base builder. Let's go.
Easy.
Let's go, baby. Now where we came from, pretty much.
Yep.
Might be the last team. I don't know how many there are.
5 others.
Ooh.
Alright, I got faith. I would type one in the chat if I was watching this. I would type one in the
It's
chat.
actually so close to me.
What's Kenny's Twitch?
Alright,
TB and
I can
Arkenworth, I
500
believe.
Everything.
There's TB and
Okay,
Arkenworth.
not really, but here, take all this.
Yo, what's up, Past Strick? How you doing today, my man? Welcome to the stream, brother.
I feel like there's people to our left. I don't know where. Yeah, there are. Really far, 150-ish.
Just
Hey, yo, what's up, Firevlogs? How you doing today, my man? What's up, CJ? Oh, I
They're
get
actually probably
so
gonna get flanked.
nervous when Billiard just stands still like that.
I wish we had like a grenade launch right now.
Got one.
Nice shot.
One on the right side. He's probably gonna pick him up.
Damn, Billiard just got lasered.
I'm healing.
Hopefully they get flanked by that
Yeah.
guy. He was over here to the left. I haven't seen him cross over though, so I'm not sure if he's about that flank in line. I kind of want to push the guy on the left and just
I
get him.
can pick up this minigun and try to break down their base.
Honestly, I wouldn't worry about it.
Got him.
Nobody else, right?
Nope. There
Just the
should
guy on
be-
the left.
Oh.
Well, oh, nice, you got one. GG. I think they're fighting the other guy.
I don't know. I don't think so. Wait. Hit him. I got a headshot on him. What?
Oh, he fell down too. Oh, nice. The other guy's up there now. Killed one on the stairs.
Alright, we got push up.
That's the last guy.
It's just
He's
one
in
guy.
their base.
Damn, they're actually gonna win this, man. Yo, mad props.
I hit him once, 35.
Hennis could beat Logan in a fight? Yeah, I
Pretty sure
bet,
that's
bro. I
real
bet.
Just machine.
Get him, Billiard! Get him, Billiard!
Dude, the walls. Oh, I ran out of ammo.
I got 18 shots left in this.
Left side.
Yep.
Hit him again.
Oh, push
Come on,
out.
guys.
Let's go, Billiard.
Oh, God. Don't die on me, buddy.
Nice.
Let's
I helped so
go,
much
dude.
that game.
Let's go.
Yo, how many kills have y'all have?
I had 10.
10, 15, Kenny?
7.
Okay, so 22 and 23. Not bad.
All right.
Easy
All right.
game,
all right.
dude.
I'll take that. I'll take a 23 kill.
Oh, let's
Yo,
go.
Yo, make sure you guys drop a like in the stream. Subscribe if you guys are new. Appreciate the support. You guys have been amazing tonight. Thank you so much, so
Let's go,
much.
dude.
No, Flipcoin's not on right now, guys. But yo, GG's and hype in the chat. Yo,
Oh,
when you guys
dude,
subscribe,
you
you'll see
can't
your name up here in the
that.
lower right-hand
I
corner.
used to keep your mouse on
Appreciate the
PS4.
love. You guys are dope. Thank you so much for
Dude,
the
you better
love.
run.
Hennis, what happens if you type
I gotta
exclamation
get
point
water,
coins in the
right
chat? If you type exclamation point
Thank
coins
you.
in the chat, man, the bot will tell you how many coins you have. What's up, Sayara? What's up, reaction? Can you download Fortnite on the Chromebook? No, I don't think so, man.
Of course you can.
Of course you can. Just press the download button. What a nice guy.
What up?
Oh, here, hold on. I got you.
Aww. Just dancing our heart away.
Hennis never turned Flipcoin on? Oh, don't worry. We're never going to turn Flipcoin on ever again. That was a mistake. Yeah, TBNR Kenworth is Kenny's Twitch, guys. He's live right now. All right, yo, let's all jump out. We're all going
Yeah,
to
I'm
Tilted.
live on Twitch right now.
Oh,
ProHenis'
shoot.
chat. You guys can come check me out. TV Kenworth. I don't die.
Whoa.
I don't die. Well, man.
In
Wow.
Minecraft. This is Fortnite.
All right, chat. I'm telling you right now, if Kenny downs, I'm not reviving him.
Come on, dude. I saved you last game.
That's true. That's true, actually. That's true. I can't
go,
hate.
dude.
I can't hate. Oh, God. I'm going to make it my goal to be the most toxic player I can in this game.
That's pretty easy.
Well, you gotta say a lot of stuff to do that.
Are you my dad? Yes. Yes, I am, Cal Johnson.
Man, everyone's dad.
I am your father.
I'm landing right by ProHenis.
Better yet, I'm your daddy.
Die.
Oh my.
I'm grown. I'm the daddy. Somebody get a gun and run towards me.
I have a shotgun. That's a gun.
I got 2 pumps. You know what that means?
Yeah, 2 pump chump. Oh, guy, bottom floor.
Oh.
Oh my god, I can't hear anything. Nice spiller.
RPG. Let's go.
Nice.
Cat, thank you for the sub.
Oh, what the frick, man?
Behind. Dude, where did he come from? Justin.
Didn't have
Wait,
health for that dude.
what the
He's
hell?
healing.
I can't see where. Hold on, I gotta break out. I'm like all the way on the top floor.
Sorry, dude.
Their track ditch is insta-kill me.
No, I
Don't come over here. ProHenis, there's 3 guys inside, 2 inside.
Why?
Oh my god.
If you kill Rune, please dance on him. Oh, you died.
I
Alright,
reported
cool.
them already because they're toxic.
Alright, that round didn't exist.
Nope.
Nope.
No one saw that.
What happened, Chad? I blinked. I didn't see what happened.
Are you guys ready to get 2 in a row?
Yeah, yeah. I blacked out right there.
Yeah. What's up, Mr. C the plant? Yo, what's up, buddy?
Mr. C, what?
Mr. C?
Mr. C, what happened?
Mr. C,
Mr.
Whoa, you're just in my
whoa,
chat.
whoa.
What do you mean? What are you doing?
Whoa.
He's
Hold
on
on,
the
let me go ahead and mute Discord right here. Yo, Mr. C the plant, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know, man, from the bottom of my heart, I love that you're in my stream right now. You always have a home here, okay? On the ProHenis Twitch channel. You stay as long as you like, okay? We are a family. You are one of us. If you want my personal phone number, we can call, all right? You're like my new best friend, man. Don't listen to anything Kenny says. He's always lies.
So weird how it's one higher than mine.
Yeah, odd.
And mine's fake anyway, so it's really
Yeah, mine
weird.
too. Well, that's super weird.
No way, dude.
Well, what else does this keep happening? But did you pickaxe Ninja?
Yeah, I did.
Oh
Damn.
my god.
Yo, imagine how
That video's
cool
got
that
a
would
million
be
views.
to pickaxe Ninja. Damn.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna stream snipe him,
you
land
must
on this
have-
building, grab his gun, and then pickaxe him.
Oh, I did not
You'll probably
stream
die.
snipe him. Oh my god.
Bet you're reading your chat, someone's like, Q now.
3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1,
And
Q.
you're like, alright,
Tilted again,
I got it.
by the way.
Are we really?
Yes,
Alright.
absolutely.
I gotta live on top of one of these roofs, dude. I can't
Yeah.
get stuck in this bottom, and I'm dead.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Damn, Pro, you making me hot? Yo, Mr. C. Always, man. I got you.
didn't
I
know
got
there
you.
were two.
What's up, Gecko? Oh, Kenny, by the way, somebody in my chat wanted to know if you could download Fortnite on the Chromebook. I told them no.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure you can.
Really?
You might not be able to play, but you can definitely download it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well, that's all you really want to do.
Check,
with
buy
this,
some
I'm
new
pretty sure.
dances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
look at the loading screen.
You could spend some V-Bucks, but be all set.
Okay, so what I've understood so far is that none of these roofs are safe, and I'm dead. Who's this? I'll kill you.
What do you mean?
Oh, Billiard, I like landing next to you. Usually save me.
Hey, there's a chest in here if you want it.
I'm looting downstairs, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna actually, yeah, where's that chest at?
Arms a pistol, and there's like a whole team on me.
I was gonna say, it's a blue burst. You want it?
I got a chest, it was in the toilet.
Oh, nice.
Oh, crossbow, I won.
Okay, yeah. You guys can fight amongst each other. It's fine. Yeah, keep fighting down there. Keep fighting down there.
This house is great. I think there's someone in the clock tower, Mr. Billiard. Oh no, he's on top of the roof next to it.
Out of all the guns in the world that I could need right now, I did not need a sniper rifle.
I'm gonna need him. Easy.
Oh, SMG? You didn't even tell me? I'm triggered.
Like,
There's a wall here. There's an AR here. Billiard, you're not telling me anything?
bro, I didn't even see it. Oh my god, there's two people outside.
Lagging.
I'm coming. Don't die.
I'm okay. No! Oh, he sucks. Never mind.
Oh god, I suck.
Bro, I was hitting a pole. He's still in the clock tower. Not like this, please. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, I may or may not be alive right now. Oh, whoa.
There's so much going on.
Can we just talk about how this town is literally Ebola? Like, can we talk about this?
Nope. Tilt the towers is great, Kenny. I don't want to hear
Billiard.
it.
Oh my god, that was nasty.
Well, this is awkward. Shoot him in the head, now he's dead.
What the hell?
Campfire in there.
Shoot, I don't have like ammo or anything.
What the bro? This is why that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is why the pump is terrible. That is why the
Close the
pump
door.
is terrible. What does he do?
Let's play, and I want to get a win, so let's not get
Guys,
tilted.
that's why you don't use the pump. That's why, chat, if I
What do you
see...
mean? The pump's good.
No, the pump
Do
is
like
not
2 damage?
good.
You just triple pump it.
Dude, no, in close quarters like that, unless
You're a
you're
five-man
unless
pump.
you're a god and somebody's coming at you just spraying with an SMG, you're gonna lose every single time. Every single gunfight, you're gonna lose. Tac is always superior in those gunfights.
Are you triggered?
Always. multiple targets, Tac will always be superior.
Like, how superior, dude?
Like really superior, dude.
I was wondering if you're gonna say it or not.
You should take out Pro from your name. Bear, I'll just ban you, okay? We'll just leave it simple as that, and I'll just unmod you and
You know what you should take out?
block
is,
you on all social
Carnage,
media.
And you know what you should put in? Is Doom.
Wow.
Whoa. You guys on
Yikes.
Ninja's live right now?
Is he? I bet ProHenis
Hold
knew.
on, I gotta...
His chat's probably telling him.
Yikes. I needed a break, I'm
By
back.
the way.
I needed a break, I'm back though.
CSGO? Alright, let's go play CSGO.
Alright, guys, Wailing Woods, drop now.
Alright, see it.
Thank God nobody dropped.
Sorry, tell baby.
Right too? Alright.
Billiard, you're muted?
Yeah, just wait.
I don't want to wait. I need your voice. You know, you're allowed to use keyboard and mouse and peaceful. I know you're allowed to, but it's frowned upon because it's like cheating.
No, it's
Are you
not.
twerking on Twitch?
You just said it's not?
It's not cheating. It's native. It's
Well,
native.
cheating.
I would love to see you go to a
It's-
PS4 tournament using a keyboard and mouse and tell
It's
me that
natively
it's allowed,
supported.
all right?
It's natively
All
supported.
right, well, tell me it's allowed in a tournament. Just, yeah, go to a tournament and let me know. All right?
If it's natively supported in
And
the
then tell me
game,
it's allowed.
okay.
You're
If it,
literally lying.
it's natively supported in the game. You plug in a keyboard and
You
mouse to.
literally-
That's not a
It
lie.
may be supported, but you cannot go to a tournament with a keyboard and mouse.
Why
They
not?
will
I'm
ban
not
you.
style with that one.
Why would-
Because it's
why would they ban
console.
you?
Because
But-
it's unfair.
But it's supported.
Very.
But
they-
just
I
saying
feel
this
it's already
because he's mad.
I'm just Kenny. Okay, I'm not reviving Kenny. I'm just letting everybody know right now. This is not
You
happening.
haven't even
I
saved
got
me
you,
yet.
Kenny.
Thanks, Dad.
Props, son.
It's times like this when I remember
Minecraft
my true
viewers for
friends.
life.
I'm just saying, like, be honest though, Henis. If you took a keyboard and mouse to a console tournament, you think they're gonna let you play? Didn't think so.
Well, what you just said right there, what you just said there is very specific. You said if you took a keyboard and mouse to a console tournament.
Well, yeah, that's what you're talking about. What do you
Wait,
mean?
what? Yo, there's someone at this house, northwest.
It wouldn't be called a console tournament. First of all, those don't exist because nobody would watch them.
Console tournaments? COD?
Did you kill him?
No.
Yeah, I can kill this guy.
There's a guy over at our house that we were just at, Billiard. He's on the
Grenade,
roof.
grenade.
Couple on the roof.
Alright, on me, I'm good.
On
That's
the,
machine time.
I got him, bossing you.
This
I got him.
guy's striking an air bomb or something. What's happening?
That was me. That was me.
Oh. Let's say someone got like a stealth bomber or something.
Billiard, there's people over at the house that we landed at, doghouse. At least,
Grenades come from
at least
though.
2 of them.
Okay. 2 seconds. Oh no.
Guys,
dude,
to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left.
man.
Yo, Billiard,
How
do
far?
you already have a...
I see him, I see him.
What the hell, dude? I'm stuck. I'm actually stuck. Oh my god.
Bro, you can break
go, baby.
everything in this
Let's
game.
go.
You're fine.
I'm being shot at from I don't know where.
Out top.
On the roof, yeah, on the roof.
Got him.
I'm being naded again. Oh my god,
That's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me.
Stop doing that, dude.
We're all dead. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. We haven't died yet.
Easy.
Ah,
Clockwork.
Yo, can you got light ammo at all?
No.
Okay, you suck. Thanks,
You have no notification? What do you mean? You have no notification. I have 3. Thank you. No, seriously, what do you mean, though? Don't understand. Oh, a bush.
oh yeah. I dropped that.
Anybody
You
got
can
an
have
extra
it.
shotgun? Nope. All right, good stuff. I'm happy.
What's up, Linda?
Linda,
You
listen.
getting shot at?
Coming.
There's actually people over there.
What?
Oh, no, he's dead.
I'm dead. Bro, I had no more building. No, I did. I had wood.
Oh my god, that actually straight killed you.
These kids are they're so bad.
I didn't even die to him, man.
Billiard, I will literally kill you in real life. The game's over. You're actually gonna die.
But where your ball's showing? I guess they
I
were.
hear that breathing right there.
Oh, here, Billiard, take this. You guys got any?
I'm
heavy
actually mad. I'm actually mad right now.
Heavy ammo?
That was
here,
such a
here.
dumb gunfight.
Thank you.
All right, Barry. You know what? You're getting
Henis,
timed
you can
out.
play a solo real
I'm
fast
sorry,
if you
Barry.
want.
Barry, you're getting timed out. I'm sorry. I just can't take you right now. I'm going to play solo.
Like how I tell him he can play a solo, like I'm his mom or something. You can play a solo now, Jimmy. It's a.
All right, Bear had to get timed out. It's just too much for me. That's just too much. Oh boy. Oh boy, we're triggered. That's too much for me, man. I can't take that. I'm actually full tilt right now. If anybody asks if I'm triggered, the answer is automatically yes. Just that was me composing myself. All right. Yo, Mr. C Plant. All right, I like you're still here, man. I like that you're still here. We'll put Bear in a timeout. Like literally, that was just too much. When he said the tack is superior, yikes, yikes! I missed my shots there, and then I couldn't switch to the building material that I needed. We're alright though. We're alright. We're cool. I'm all level-headed now, guys. Don't even worry about it. We're good. You mad, bro? Nah, I'm fine, dude. What are you talking about? Hi. I'm fine, man. Honestly, I'm good. What's up, Anthony Sanchez? All right. This is me meditating right now. I'm going tilt the towers. You are the pure definition of awesome. Thank you, man. It's very kind of you. Is Bear back? Did Bear say anything? What did he just say? He hasn't even said anything because he's not back. Why? Because he's still timed out. Why? He's a nerd. He's an absolute nerd. I'm sure that hurts a lot coming from me. Yo, Nathaniel. Thank you so much for your dono, my man. Bro, how? I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this game.
Again?
I hate
Did you
this
just play
game.
solo and die instantly?
Yes. Yes, I did.
How's
Are you-
Tilted Towers?
It's terrible. It's literally the worst place to land of all time. Are you guys on the game?
Wait, did you actually go there?
Yes, I did.
I bet someone
Sounds
just
like
chat
the
like,
name's
Wait,
he's
what?
like, I'm gonna go play solo real fast and die to ninja. I'm sorry, do you not a stream sniper?
Oh my god. I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. I'm gonna go mentally insane. I'm actually gonna go mentally insane. But no, for real, Nathaniel, thank you so much for your dono, my man. I really do appreciate that. Once again, chat, I'm good. Totally cool. Calm, cool, collected. We're landing at Tilted Towers, by the way. Play with Kenny. They're still in the squad right now, so we're just gonna wait for them to be done, and then we'll hop back in and play with them.
I love you, Henis. I watch all
Bear,
your
I hate
streams.
you so much. Nathaniel just came in with a $2. Thank you so much, Nathaniel. I really do appreciate that. Bear just texted me the mod that I timed out. He texted me and he said, "Mad cuz bad." Your timeout should be over pretty soon, Bear. Just know that I'm watching you. Those eyebrows, though? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I know it's gorgeous. I know it's a lot. I'm toxic. I don't even want to hear it. Was that Max Hemp? Welcome to the stream, dude. That was the face of the devil? Oh, 100%. 100%. Where's the chest? I definitely just heard it. Was it down below? I don't even know. Yeah, it's definitely down below, right in here. Give me something good. AR. Not what I needed right now. Haha, I didn't know I was timed out until like 30 seconds ago. How can you not have known? I told you. Get pooped on, my dude.
right. He was like right at the edge of the border.
You guys still in the game?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Here we go. Stop letting it tilt the towers? Okay, we won't let it tilt the towers again. That outfit actually is pretty dope. I don't have that many V-Bucks though.
I'm not gonna. Yo, why is my whole Twitch chat just spammed with salt? Are you guys good?
Holy Jesus. It's because you're doing the shooting test? Nah. Alright, I'm gonna land somewhere other than Tilted Towers. And we're gonna win. I'm gonna go Shifty Shafts. Ha! Psych, you thought I'm going over here. Actually, no, I'm going right over here. I'm gonna go over there. Actually, yeah, we're gonna go over here. And this is what you call salty. Is that a car on the roof? Yeah, it is. Cool. I'm gonna go for the top of the chimney because I'm pretty sure there's a chest just chilling. Is that a chest? Nope. Never mind. I like to call this place Factory 2.0. Really? Really? The weapon we get to start off is a freaking crossbow. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about, baby. Here we go. Let's get it. I'm ready. I'm so ready. This kid's not even gonna know what hit him. What do I hear at this chest? Ooh, I like that. Somebody else. Oh, there was two of these? Oh, neat. Take that. Here we go. 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 No chest up there. Chest already been open. Okay. Already 400 wood. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Thought I heard a chest in there. Chest in the basement? Yeah, there might be. I don't think I'm gonna worry about it though. I don't even know how to get to the basement, to be honest with you. Alright, here we go, guys. We're winning this game. Sick and tired of losing, man. Basement. Alright. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good right now, guys. Who else is feeling good? I'm feeling warm. I'm feeling juicy. I'm feeling solid. Yeah? What's up, you freaking loser? Gotta keep myself hyped. Gotta keep myself hyped. Gotta keep myself hyped. Whoa, why did I think that would be a good idea? Sorry, man. Meant no disrespect. I'm just really triggered right now. Please don't hit me. Kinda wish I had a sniper, but it is what it is. I think the biggest thing, like, in all honesty, we're just missing shots. Like, I gotta stop making up excuses. Are you feeling superior? Oh, I'm feeling superior, dude. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Them shots? Oh, I know, they were terrible. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. Why can I not freaking build here? That's so lame. I don't know how that made any sense, because it must have been because of the tree. Shots over here. Nah, Billiard, I'm not leaving. I'm getting this win right here. Watch. I'm gonna bet 20. I'm gonna bet. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put some money on this. All right, Billiard. Tell Kenny this. If I lose this game, I have to donate $10 to Kenny. Okay. That's how confident I'm feeling right now. $10 is on the line in this game right here. Did you find Ninja? Oh my god, that was a horrible shot, Henry. That was a horrible shot. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Horrible. Literally horrible. God awful. I don't know what I'm gonna do. That was terrible. That was terrible. That was terrible, dude. That was terrible. That was terrible. Bro, I'm choking. Mad hard right now. I just gotta relax. I gotta relax. I'm like, whoa, I just stopped. Okay. I'm like too amped up right now. That's my problem. You're getting the dub? I hope, man. I didn't see you, man. Hold on. Dude, right up there. Can't build right there. Hit him. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Dude's dead over there? Isn't there more loot than this? Here we go. What the hell? Low-key freaking out right now, dude. That was a good fight. Get out of my freaking game, dude. I'm a god. I'm sorry. GG's. Let's see here. What do I want to take? I'm just kidding, chat. I really don't have that much of an ego, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just getting really hyped right now. I want to win this game really badly. Shoot, dude. I just heard a fight in the storm. It was weird. Oh, man. Get this win? Yo, Zin, this is for you, buddy. And so I don't have to donate Kenny 10 bucks. Kid camping in this roof, 100%. How did I take that much damage, bro? That's so stupid.
This is a Chucky Beat production. This is a Chucky Beat production.
You're listening to that.
I don't like this right now. Still 4 people left, and I have no idea where they all are. They've got to be camping. Guarantee somebody has eyes on me right now. And I really want to believe that somebody's camping in this house. I can't see him. They're gonna have to push to me. I'm just gonna wait. Pretty sure that's where he is. There's this dude right down here. Shoot. Freaking go, dude. Let's freaking go, baby. Woo-wee. All right.
Oh man, you're so
Don't
good.
spoil
at
it! Oh my god, finally.
Dude, that one gunfight, that one building fight that I had near Fatal, that was intense.
Won't lie to you, I wasn't really watching.
That was a GG. GG's in the chat.
Let's go, baby. Nice shot, man. I was rooting you on the whole time, pal. All right, join our lobby. We waited an hour for that game.
Oh, I needed that. I needed that.
Wasn't your fault, dude. They were all playing super slow. You're a god. Let's go. All right, I'm going Pete now.
You waited that long to do that. Oh my God.
Oh, man.
This is a Chucky Beat production.
Yo, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. That was honestly a really, really good game. When you guys subscribe, you'll see your name up here in the lower right-hand corner. We are less than 140 subscribers away from 261,000. Thank you all so very much for the support. I'm sorry if I came across as really egotistical that game. That is not me at all. I tried to be very, very humble. But I really needed to win that game right there, so I'm glad we were able to win that. Make sure you guys drop a like on the stream as well. Seriously appreciate the support. You guys are dope. Thank you. Yo, what's up, Casper? How you doing, man? Ooh-wee.
Good job, Henry.
Bro, I'm so... Did you see that one gun? Did you see that building fight near Fatal?
Yeah, yeah.
That was good. That was like...
Thank
Woo. I thought he was going to get
Hey,
me.
Henis.
Yeah, what's up?
When I was watching, I noticed your balls were showing.
I hate you so much. I hate you
Where
so
are we
much.
going?
Want to go Pleasant?
Yeah.
Sure. This is my last game for the last long time.
You hear that, Casper? Get your Fortnite hands ready.
Oh, Casper was literally just in my stream.
Yeah, we all were.
I wasn't.
Yep. Oh, we were only waiting for 30 minutes, so it's honestly fine.
And then a split team out? Oh.
What's up, Blue Eagle? How you doing, man?
Oh shoot, what am I doing? You've got a friend in my... Oh my god, there's a lot of people coming Pleasant. By that I mean 2 teams. I definitely didn't land right. That's for show.
I'm getting a scar 100%.
Oh, this guy's got a purple pistol or attack. Next, behind you, Justin, at the gas station thing.
Pretty sure we all win this house.
That's the only house I could make.
Honestly.
Nice game, man.
Oh god, he does have it. Ugh. Please don't.
Knocked him.
You.
Good job, baby. Let's go.
Gonna mess him up here a little bit. Just gonna like,
Look at that burger in there, feeling.
What happens if you make him dance with a boogie bomb? Hold on. Stop knifing it. Oh, okay.
what?
You want that? Oh, my bad. That's all you.
Appreciate it.
Pray.
With the guy behind the house. Gingerbread man.
He's behind yeah, he's behind the car right now.
I'm baiting him.
Oh.
Oh my god, who is on?
Whoa! Damn.
You're a
Bro,
maniac.
the bloom was just not working for
Has
me.
anybody
right
got
there.
bandages by chance?
No, I don't. Thought I did,
A lot
but
of damage there.
but yo, Jeremy, thank you so much for the 5. Nice game, man. Appreciate it, bro. Glad you enjoyed it. Let's get some Jeremy love in the chat, and then Josiah with it too. Love you guys. Love all you guys. You the best. GG. God. Rest in pepperonis, yo. Rest in pepperonis, that guy, man.
I'm pretty sure I built you right here, but okay.
Thank you so much for the 2, man.
Shot from blue house, southeast.
There's somebody in here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Above.
You jump down?
People in this house, billiard. Right here, on me.
Wow.
Did you get him, Justin? So.
I mean, someone got him. Dancing!
Dancing on.
2 in front of us, Kenny. 27?
Well, jeez. Look at my girlfriend for 1 second. This guy's
Yes.
dropping bombs.
Dude, you literally just mapped me from across the way over there.
The map.
Oh, medkit if you can get me up. Appreciate it, man.
You have a
Thanks,
medkit?
Dad.
I
Yeah,
need.
medkit.
Kill
I
him,
need
he's over
heals.
here.
No, I can give you the medkit.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have more health than you anyway, so. Okay, or don't drop, whatever
They
they
have shield.
I also have like a god tier site. One went to the left behind the house.
Yeah, I see him building up
Shotgun,
there.
nice.
What's up, Ethan? What's up, Coach?
What's up, coach? How you
What
doing?
up, Coach? Yo, Coach, how you doing?
Yeah, I'll have coach from Left 4 Dead too.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys behind the ice cream truck? One guy jumped over the ice cream truck.
27.
One knocked. Oh, I'm tagged.
Nice.
He's in the bottom of the house.
Yep. Got him.
Tagged. Oh, he's one shot behind the bushes.
Oh.
On the bushes. Push up, billiard.
Oh,
Get
thank God.
him.
He's on the stairs.
Yep.
Get a billiard.
Nice shot, baby. Let's go.
Any more healing over there? Look at our health. It's all, it just starts from the top. to the bottom.
AT&T. That's
Oh.
what raising the bar.
I'm about to screw it up. But now the bar's really
Love
messed
that
up.
communication, dude.
Yo, sorry. I just needed to find heals. Oh, I found bandages right here if anybody needs them.
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Could use some.
Pizza. I never ordered it because we were sleeping.
Oh, dude.
Damn, SMH, Kenny.
I don't think they're open.
SMH.
On Friday and Saturdays, but it's today's Sunday and it's already 10 o'clock. I'll check real fast. Hold on.
Bandages in the house, Henis?
No, I have them on me. I'll drop them right out here.
Right here.
Delivery hours. Oh yeah, they're still
Thank
open.
you, sir.
Hello. Wait, Casper, didn't you already sub? Oh. Tier 3?
Tier 3?
What?
What's
What?
up, man? Where you at?
Tier
Hey,
3?
what's up, Casper? Hey, you want to kiss just for you? Big boy? You wanna eat it? It's just gonna be. I'm not gonna eat any of it. And pineapple.
Guys, don't tell Kenny he's trapped.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Someone's strapped?
Hey. Henis.
Yeah, I know. You get your gold scar. I don't even want to see it, bro. I'm not even gonna look at it. I'm not even gonna look at it. Oh. Yo, what up? I got you. Yo, I love you too, man. You're so freaking cute, dude.
What's happening in that building?
Yo, you want to come in and join us?
Yeah, man. What's up?
His bicycle's built for 2. You know what I'm saying?
Make my way
Built
there.
built for 3. It's a
What
tricycle.
does it say?
That's what a tricycle is, right? It means you can put 3 people on it.
No, exactly what it means. 100%.
Yo, guys, let's just leave Kenny. Don't even tell him we're leaving, all right?
Let's move him out of the room again.
Shaking my SMH.
Shaking my leg.
SMH my head.
Surprise you. Do you want a soda?
Oh, God,
You're drinking
don't do it,
soda?
Kenny.
I'll get you Miss Twist.
Dude, this twist is disgusting.
You said surprise me. Just tell me what you want. Stop asking me. I don't know the answers. No, I'm not. Yes.
Did I have to donate 20 bucks? No, I didn't, man.
I'm trying to.
It was only 10 bucks.
Maybe I'll want a drink. They don't have Fanta.
Isn't it Fanta?
Yeah, I say Fanta.
No.
Who cares? I don't know what it's called.
We do. We're arguing about it right now.
Oh, Orange Crush.
It's called Sprite. Get it.
Damn, you got such a great vantage point up here. You can see everything.
I love the
right.
enthusiasm in your voice when you're saying that.
It's been ordered. Love you.
Oh, I love you too, Kenny.
I'm talking to you, you bumblebee.
Do you
Wow.
do you love me, Kenny?
Whoa.
Because I love you.
Yeah.
We should
I'd kiss you on a Saturday afternoon.
you should just
Specifically.
whoever that Corey girl is, you just leave her and come live with me.
Nah, she's a cover up, dude. She's a cover up.
Yeah.
She's not
I'm
real.
actually gay.
Knew it. Sigurd, I'm pumping
Come on, someone
my
make fun of me. I dare you.
I'm pumping
I'll
my
see your
fist right
YouTube's
now.
Reported and banned.
Oh no
Oh,
no
what do you got,
no!
Henis, huh? What do you got?
It's a bait.
No, 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 no.
Oh no no no!
Oh, God.
2018, I dare you.
It's 2018?
I'll be rich by the end of the week. Someone say something.
Dude, I like it, dude.
Oh god.
I'm a nice boyfriend.
People on us, failures?
I know, that's why I'm in love with you.
Nope. 195? Nope.
I'm there. I'm with you.
I bet you are.
I like how Henis is that loot lake.
There's people on top of the base building. I can't.
What's popping, guys? What's popping?
Oh,
You're dead.
Jesus.
Don't worry, guys. We're
Flag
coming.
Here.
I don't got
I
him.
knocked one.
Oh,
You good? Where you at?
behind.
Hey, Kenny, I'm hearing shots and tilted right now.
Hello.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Hold
I
that
think
spawn
there's people at
protection.
Tilted.
All right, yeah, I'll meet you there.
No, no one's a tilted. We're fine. Number 27? More?
Dude, I'm gonna let you
All
down,
you, all you.
Wait.
and then I'm gonna let
Nice, good,
everybody get revived.
Yeah, you guys suck.
I think there's 2 people at Tilted.
Yeah, yeah.
Billy and I are just carrying everyone. It's fun. Don't worry about it.
Henis equals LGBT. Bro, that's not even what. Is that even what that means?
I think it's just LOL.
Oh.
League of Legends.
Oh no no
Exactly what
no!
I was thinking.
I feel like you guys are just offending people now. Especially Kenny.
I'm offended, and I'm not even.
I'm
Yeah.
offended. You go, Billy. I have a medical for you.
No, I got one.
What the F did I just do?
Ow.
Damn, I found the gold mine for loot in here.
I'm loving this. Someone's building for me. It's beautiful.
Oh whoa, hold on. Yo, there's a medkit down there if anybody needs it.
I can stack them if anyone doesn't want them.
Phantom?
Wonton?
Any Phantom? I love that show.
Bro,
Want-
I can't
wonton
click anything
soup?
right now. Stop, game. Stop.
Wonton soup? Oh,
What?
you want wonton soup? Wait a minute. Is that racist?
Nope. You're good.
It's only racist if you ask.
Okay. Now it's racist because
No,
I.
it's racist.
Shoot. My bad.
Where do you go? There's people northeast on the big mountain.
Yep. Coming to us.
Hey, we came from there.
Hit one.
Knocked one.
Whoa. Hey there, buddy.
Nice shot, Justin.
Thank you, man.
Hey, Justin. Nice shot.
Thank you, man.
No problem, dude.
Oh, the poor down guy, dude.
Did anyone killing the guy on billiard? No? Okay. Billiard 31. He's super weak, super weak, super weak.
He's down. He's down. He's down.
Okay, good job. Proud of you guys. Really, really solid shots.
I have 2 HP.
I got a shield for you.
Hey, I got 2 medkits.
I'm good. Wait.
Well, you have
Was there another one on the hill?
Yeah, still one more on the hill.
You?
Kenny, I'm coming with you, bud.
Yeah, Kenny, you 100% got him if you rush him like that.
Oh, they're being shot from someone else.
Oh, well, never mind. No, you don't 100% got him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I killed that guy. I don't know where the other guys are at.
Oh, what in the world? What?
He got
tumble.
knocked out by Fall. Fall has
tumble.
killed Justin. Look for Fall.
That's a nice
Don't worry,
try.
guys. I have a medkit.
Easy.
Yep.
Oh,
Nice.
thanks,
All right,
man. I
fall
love you.
down.
There's a sniper down here for you, Kenny, if you want it.
I
I'm on it.
realized I didn't have much wood on me. That was my downfall.
That guy was getting crossbows from over here. Henis.
Okay.
Thank you.
Probably one of these real close.
Possibly. I don't know.
People could be coming in from the south. It's because the border's closing. Yep, they're here.
Oh no.
Knocked one.
Henis, should we
I'm
go
dead.
back?
Probably.
Wait, where are you? Oh, you're right here. Do you want to go for the drop or no? Oh, yep, we gotta go back.
I mean, our
He's on
teammates are
me.
dying.
What a little.
Wait.
I'm just calm myself for talking. R&D, there you go.
I hear a minigun.
Here, an LMG. Are you, hello, game?
Don't worry, I finished it for you.
Yeah.
I just got crossbowed again.
Drop billiard.
Easy.
Okay, Henis, let's go back.
Hold on, Billy, are you good? Whoa, yeah, I heard that. Oh, I see
think
him.
so.
There's still more people over here.
I'm just hiding.
He's going towards the drop, I think.
You should have a message earlier.
Ooh.
I didn't pick it up.
Ah, he's across the river, Kenny, to the east, literally straight ahead. He's got a crossbow. He might be
Yeah.
behind a tree, so you might not be able to see him right now.
Oh, I have no more ammo. Dang
He's
it.
definitely going
Alright,
for the, supply drop though. Yep, he just shot at me again.
He ran up to the tree. Okay, he's not.
Hit him once, no shield. He's by the closest tree right there, yep. Damn. Wait, you hit him with a bow? Oh,
I
damn.
was watching your screen when you did that, 100%.
Alright, Kenny, I see you. I see you.
Let's go, dude.
No big deal. Alright,
I hit
alright.
that one for Casper.
Wait, for Casper, why not?
Does
I
he
mean, could've hit it
good
for
tier
me.
3 sub?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Whatever, dude. I'm just
One of
your
you guys
dead
are tier
teammate.
3.
Could have hit it for
I've
Justin.
been subbed to you for about 28 months, so.
28 months. God.
That's it.
damn.
Speaking of that, I could probably get resubbed to you now since I'm dead.
Since I'm dead. That was...
Yo, I still only have a gray AR.
Oh my god.
Isn't that a shame?
Billiard's running around with his golden everything. Bummer, dude.
Bro, I have 3 golden things. Easy.
Hey, Billiard, I have a...
I got a gold boat bow, so I'm happy, you know.
Thank you.
Do you have extra sniper ammo, anyone?
Yeah, I'm 107.
City Blitz, thanks for the 20 on the race up.
20, what exactly?
Thank you.
How many?
A race up. 28 months.
Read the message with it though.
Oh, shoot, I can't read. Next kill can be for me now. Thank you, thank you. Okay. This one's for you.
I want a solid no scope, okay?
He didn't die.
Oh. Well, that's your teammate. That'd be why.
You go shots? I'm dead?
Alright, 7 up. Let's get this win. I didn't play this long to lose. Couldn't talk right there. Really hard. Really hard. Why can't I?
Oh, Justin, are you okay? How are you
Nah,
tilting
dude,
the spectator?
I'm literally dying. The shark throat's coming back, bro. Yeah, see, I gave it to you now too. Enjoy it.
I got mine from shoveling the roof.
Nice. I had 8 assists this game.
Really?
Pretty fun. Yeah.
I only have 1 kill right now.
I haven't even seen 8 people.
I have.
This match stats is clearly inaccurate. The screen says I have 4 kills, but the match stats says I have 3. So.
Dillier, don't shoot the drop. Literally, it's right there. You don't need to shoot it. Everybody sees exactly where it
I
is.
don't know where it is, bro.
Dude, don't you dare shoot the drop. That just lets everybody else know exactly where it is. Billiard, don't. I hate you. I actually hate you. I literally hate you.
Can you shot the drop?
It's low, it's low. I have 14 AR bullets.
You have 14?
I have 13 shotgun bullets.
Come here.
I have nothing, dude.
Wait, shotgun.
Thanks, dude.
I literally.
Oh my god, I'm rich.
See, look what happened. Look what happened. They opened it up.
I'm
You
gonna
guys see
spectate
that?
Billiard.
Yeah, they opened it up because they were probably waiting for it, you Goomba.
If we didn't shoot it, we would have known that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't have heard it for real. They're right up over the ridge right here. They're probably going for the next drop.
The jump pad?
Oh, jump pad. Can you guys please call that you have these?
Yeah, I know, for
I
real.
love these things.
345.
Look at all those little teddy bears.
Billier's just trying to be selfish.
You know what? I'm full on Team Billiard right now.
I'm going for the drop. Frick you guys.
I started clapping behind him. I got his attention. I'm insane. Did we kill the other guy?
Yep.
Proud of you guys. Follow those up.
Another gold RPG over here.
So,
Hello,
Building
Shirley.
at Loot Lake right now. Building at Loot Lake.
yep. Want to rocket launch me?
I'm
Yep.
out of rockets. I only
Right
have
here.
one.
Hop on that.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Hurry.
I think someone's doing a server.
That's
Ready?
Good hurrying right
Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Don't
Where'd
move.
he go?
Are you freaking kidding me?
Hurry.
Yep.
Hurry.
Oh my god.
God.
Get back up there. Get back up. Get back up. You're good. You're good. You're
Is
good.
there one on the roof? Ooh! Right over his head.
okay.
You move too much. You move too much. This is literally gonna be perfect. This is literally gonna be perfect.
What are you guys doing?
Rocket launch it.
Is it working?
Nice, nice, nice. Go, go, go.
Good
Oh.
shot. Didn't get that. Okay. Okay. The knock right here.
Oh shoot! Right at the
Oh my
window.
god. Oh my god.
No way! You actually just shot. Wait, with a minigun?
Oh
The
my
tree saved your
god.
life.
Oh. Damn. I bet that looked lit.
Was there a guy around here?
100%.
Oh no.
Trees are great.
I swear there was a guy around here. Oh, there he is.
Oh my. Hey.
No.
You good, Kenny?
Yeah, I was clapping on him, dude. Yo, this clapping thing is fun.
Oh, there's a potion right there for you.
I don't need
Potion
that.
to region?
He's over here to the left somewhere.
I thought the pilot.
Oh crap, there's more than just this guy. Oh wow, there's more than that guy. What the heck
We're
is going on
about,
around here?
we're about to be out of the safe zone, by the way.
I can't read.
There they are. Oh, what?
Where are they?
He's on like a slippy slide.
Honestly.
Didn't I just get sniped from the left?
I thought I heard the sniper. Oh, there he is. Nice, good stuff.
Okay, that guy's dead.
I'm still getting shot. I don't know from where.
Billiards.
Oh, right in the water right here.
Billiards
Whoop.
fine.
Got him.
Oh my god. What kind of player did you find? Just
Whoa.
at this point. Oh my god. What? Oh my god.
What?
I don't even care.
If we lose, I care.
He's actually, if he dies, I'm so mad.
Alright, Ross lost, dude. No scope him. No scope him. No scope. Solid efforts
Rip
out
that
there,
guy.
boys.
GG, let's go.
Common AR for the whole game. God, that was terrible.
GG challenge.
How many kills?
3.
14? Wait, what?
What?
7.
What's up, Connor? How you doing, man? No, I read the chat, guys. I'm sorry. I was just concentrating there.
And 4.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't reading chat there. My bad. My bad.
25, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Alright, well, that was my last
I can't believe you
game,
knocked
so-
out the minigun while on the rocket.
know,
That's
right?
insane.
That was actually
That was
dope.
sick to watch, I'm not even gonna lie.
Justin, you should clip that and send it to me.
We'll see. We'll see, man. I don't know.
Did I actually miss a rare AR? I didn't realize it. What's up, Hunter?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yo, make sure you guys drop a like in the stream. Subscribe if you haven't done so already.
playing,
When you
guys.
subscribe, you'll see your
Yeah,
name up here in the
man.
lower right-hand
GG,
corner,
bro.
and drop a like as well.
Yeah.
Yo, have a good one, man.
You do.
All right, who are we inviting now? Casperific.
Mr. Casperific?
Casperific.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Casper.
Oh,
get online.
Mr. Avery is playing.
Who's she?
AVXRY. Who's she? She sounds pretty.
I'll play a couple. Huh, fun. She sounds like a babe.
Is she?
1 sec.
4 pink sister bears. Oh, for sure, dude, for sure. So Psionic, build a pirate ship. People have already built pirate ships, man. I don't know. You could build like a turtle or something in the middle of Loot Lake. It'd be kind of funny. Hello.
Well, hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Are you that guy who... Oh, bye. Goodbye. Had a good one.
So Henry, how are you today?
Billiard, I'm doing great, man.
It's great.
Honestly, you should tell people when you're putting down
Jasper.
like stuff, you
No.
know, for jump pads. No. But in all seriousness, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Like I'm serious.
Okay.
Just because it's it's nice. It's just nicer to have that
totally,
communication.
like
No,
serious.
it's just nicer to know, dude. Because if you don't, then we're left there. Like, I don't know. It's just like it makes the stream much better too if you're if we're actually all in communication, you know. And we can play better.
Wait,
and
what?
It's just better.
You're talking to me?
Oh,
No, I'm talking
What did I
to
do?
no, I'm talking to Billboard over here.
Don't yell at my billiard like
I'm
that.
not yelling at him. I'm just talking to him, dude.
I accidentally quit Discord and was wondering why nobody was talking to me again.
You weren't even in here. What's up, dude?
I was.
Sometimes I blink and I wonder why the lights went out, and then I realize I blinked. So.
Hey, turn them on.
Where'd the lights go? Power went out.
Ah, help. I'm blind.
Why are people saying Avery is a douche recently? I think he's pretty chill. I don't know. I don't think Avery's
I'm
a
just
douche.
drinking water.
Billiard is the worst squads player. Damn, king of the bears. You know what?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean,
He's a pretty bad squads player for sure. Yeah.
honestly.
How could you say that?
How could you not say what?
To be fair,
that?
Henis, whenever you have a jump pad, you literally tell no one
What?
until you're on the ground, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, jump pad back there."
It's actually fair.
Wow, we look so hot.
You're talking about that time that I saved you, Kenny? Is that what you're referring to?
I love being a
I
little
don't remember
bunny
that time.
rabbit.
You know what? I don't even want to be
It's not a
affiliate.
rabbit.
I don't even want to be. Oh, I didn't change my outfit. Right.
Oh my god, dude.
It's a giraffe.
It's a giraffe.
It's a giraffe.
Little,
I'm a rhinoceros.
Yo, everybody wants us to build a sky base. Do you guys want to build a sky base?
We did it yesterday, and it took forever.
And
That's
you all
true.
died, and I had to clutch
No,
when I was
I-
eating my mac
Yo,
and cheese.
you actually did
Triggered.
clutch.
I killed one of them.
That's true. That actually is true. Without you, I would have died. So.
True.
No, it was all. It was.
Technically,
No,
I
no,
knocked one.
was all Kenny,
so
for sure.
if I didn't knock that guy, you probably would have been killed.
That's true.
That is true. That is also true.
So
What?
what we're saying is that all happened perfectly.
I'm
So
making
what we're
the
saying
play.
is we're not doing that.
I guess not.
Yeah. True.
Yes.
Even though it would be T1 content, I vote we go Tilted Towers.
Tyler won.
I can't believe you pickaxe Ninja. Yo, me
Tyler won.
neither, dude.
Yeah, I can't believe you.
Tyler
did
was
that.
like,
Wow.
Yo, Mr. Hattrick, I do
Sure,
appreciate
Lost
your dollar, man. Let's get a hat spam in the chat.
I love Ninja, you said?
Yeah, right.
So,
Casper,
man.
that
Pro
link-
Henis, I did the Valentine thing on Twitter, and you are mine, dude. All right, I'm ready.
Cute.
I am yours. What's up, Raging Monkey?
I did this test on Twitter. I was like, "Who's the worst communicator?" And Billiard popped up.
Damn,
Insane.
roasted.
Guy
Show me
landing.
a
Dang it,
genital.
Billiard. Okay, we all landed up here.
God.
Well,
Yay.
What is it doing? Oh my
Best
god,
team
we're
in A.
literally all here.
I know.
What's up, guys?
This is actually accidental.
Yo,
Okay.
Mr. Hattrick just donated and said, "Show me your genitals." I'm good, bro. Thank you, though.
You haven't seen them, they've been out all stream.
Oh wow, you actually got that. Damn.
Yeah, hey, I got a burst for you.
I thought I grabbed it. SMH.
Oh, here's a blue tack down too.
I can't tell where this
Guys,
other
I
crate's
accidentally
at.
fell down to the floor.
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm scared.
Whoa.
Oh, it's in here?
Oh,
No, Billy Willy.
Where is he?
uh,
Billiard, communication!
I'm sorry. I just got killed.
By who? Is he inside, downstairs?
I got him.
Is he at my mom's house?
Whoa, he had a scar. Okay. Crazy.
Little scar around me.
I'm down. There's another one. He's bedazzled. He's on the first floor. He's coming to kill me. Oh, there's two of them. Never mind.
First floor.
Oh, you actually can make that jump, eh?
I just made it back up to the top.
ProHenis just got pickaxe.
Let's go, Kenny. We win these?
I see one.
Where?
I don't know, he was on one of these floors. I actually don't know where I'm at right now. Have you seen my
I
mom?
see a
I
crate
think he's
across
up one
from
more,
us.
Kenny. Up one more. Up one more.
Alright, roger that. I saw him. I have lost him.
He's not ever gonna expect this. You ready? Kenny, oh! I thought it was you, Kenny. What the heck?
It is. Surprise.
He's not ever gonna expect this. Gets instantly down. Damn.
Oh man,
Put the
was
campfire
fun.
down to revive him fast.
Oh yeah, let me do that real fast.
Does it really?
No.
Oh, guys, don't cap on me, please. 'Cause I'll believe you.
Oh god.
Oh, hello? Okay.
That's the guy that got him. Kenny, that's the guy.
Got one?
Nice. Dance on him. Dance on him. Dance on him. Dance on him. There we go. Nice.
Imagine you just
Yeah,
got
boss.
headshotted from that.
No, are you discoed?
Fine.
You sure? You promise?
Oh my god. Dance on him. Dance on him. You gotta dance on him.
Come on, let me dance! There
Well,
we
my
go.
cat's off.
I don't have that.
Oh,
That's perfect.
close enough.
He's probably really mad right now.
I'd be too. If I was that great at the game.
Kevin, do you have any bandages?
Nope.
Yo, Mr. Hattrick, I
I'm
do
outta
appreciate your
here.
$2, man, but I'm not gonna show you my genitals. I do appreciate your donation, though.
Show me your genitals. Isn't that a song?
No.
I hope not. I really hope
Yes, it
not.
How does it go? Yeah, how does it go? Is that how it goes?
I'm pretty sure it's by Lonely Island though.
Show me your genitals.
Show me your
No, it's
titty.
not. No, it's not. Calling
Hello?
King of the Bears, please respond with the artist. Thank you.
Show me your genitals.
You know, if you get wood in a crate, it gets you like 10. Like... Oh, Kenny, you having a good time?
Oh, I'm dead.
Oh no.
Tell my mom. Hey guys, we can talk about.
Hold on. I win these?
Wait, where are you playing? Oh, you went.
I was
What are you doing up there?
looting, I saw a crate and I got distracted by the colors.
Go up on the second story.
That sounds like...
Straight through, straight through.
Nope, no, there's a trap. Oh, you knew?
Yeah. Kill him, finish him off.
No, hold on, I don't finish them off, hold on.
John Legend.
Dance on him. Dance on
You
him.
did finish
You
him
gotta
off,
dance.
honestly.
There we go.
No, rocket ride yourself?
Did I kill myself?
Unbelievable, Mr. C.
Alright, ready? I hit these. I hit these.
This is
Knocked.
why. This is why people watch.
Oh, dude, if that would have hit you.
Alright, this is a no scope 360.
Oh
Why my
God,
ladder
you're
stall?
dead.
Ah!
You're dead. Do it again. You won't.
You're not down. Hold on. What's the thing to switch to my? Oh yeah, it's right click. That's right. Thanks, mom. I don't want to get hit by this and get montage clipped.
Those are really close to you. Holy crap.
Wait, trying to jump pad?
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna win these. I'm winning this. I'm killing these kids. I'm gonna win this 100%.
I'm gonna play one more game after this.
All right.
Right
there. You got him. Push behind him. You got him. They're not.
I got this. Watch this. Nobody's gonna expect this play.
They're all downed?
Yes, they will. They expect this play.
Oh, damn.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
No, good game, man. Good.
Oh, no.
All right, let's not go tilted. I want to win this last one for Henis.
All right.
Alright, we love Henis.
I want to win this last one for
Yeah.
Kenny. So
Oh.
this is so wholesome.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
This is
Okay,
so.
you should have went with me.
Where?
To
You
get
were
the-
literally fighting no one. You were like jumping on roofs.
Oh no, Henis was all that.
What did I do?
I saw it too, dude. He switched it
Yeah,
up.
he's-
Unfortunate.
Bro, I didn't do any.
already. We lost already.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm
If
so
we see
sick.
him down, let's just dance around him.
I'm so sick of that outfit, dude.
No, you're not.
No, Kenny does a 5-hour stream today minimum.
What?
Yes.
I've only been live for 2 hours. I have to play it for another 3. And you said you're
Yes.
only playing like one game. I'm not playing 3 hours solo. I'll kill myself.
Maybe I'll play with you. I mean, the 3 hours
You
flies
literally
by
said I'll
fast.
play
in
a
this game.
couple games.
Maybe this game is too fun for me to stop playing that fast.
Oh, that's so nice.
Honestly, like, I am happy now.
It makes you not want to pull my
Mine's
hair
at
out like
70-30
H1.
split, dude.
How about we all go to different locations?
Yeah, are you sad?
I'm very sad, dude. I'm tilted.
Oh.
Enough to go
I
to
see what you did. I see what you
Tilted
did.
Towers.
You guys ready? I'm going
I
retail.
like said it first.
I like Trigger Towers better.
Someone needs to drop. Okay.
I'm dropping straight down. I'm full 20 blazing it.
What? Full 20? You said?
420 blazing?
Full 20. Full 20.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna pull a full 10-20 here.
Oh, 10-4, 10-4.
Roger's here. One. We got you 9x5. We're gonna attempt
How is this
a
guy, how are they
1040.
lower than me? Hello?
Whoa.
Why are they lower? I landed
What,
so
what,
quickly.
what did I
Why
what
are
did I
they
do
lower than
wrong?
me? My SSD. No.
You guys are flaming, and I don't understand why.
Listen.
H1's
What
a
do you
good
mean?
game, right? H1's a really good game.
Okay. Let's not say things you don't mean now. Okay.
It's actually getting better, to be honest.
Pearl's also recoil.
There's some pretty good updates here recently.
Okay. I wouldn't even know. I haven't really played, but
Yeah.
I'll believe you.
See, I've asked you, but you're like, why are you even playing that trash?
Well, you guys never really advertise it too well. You're like, hey, we're playing H1. You want to play?
That's
We're
fair.
playing it. You wanna join?
Yeah, we're playing that game that nobody likes.
Okay, I broke the crate. I'm sad.
It happens.
Yes.
The worst of us. Is there nobody upstairs?
I keep getting attacked because I keep calling it a crate.
I mean, yeah. It is a chest. Fucking green tack
really-
just fell on my forehead.
Kenny, are you getting Sea of Thieves?
I doubt it.
Okay, that game actually looks insane. I don't know why you wouldn't get it.
I don't know how to steer a boat.
Okay, fair enough.
Lucky for you, it teaches you.
I don't understand.
Oh.
What is science?
I don't
What
know.
are words and numbers?
Words and
Oh,
numbers?
somebody over here by me.
I haven't needed to use those
Oh,
since,
guy on me?
since
Holy.
Nom.
Right in the middle straight. I didn't. Yeah.
Was that an RPG I just saw?
That guy's knocked. Where'd this guy go?
There's one on me, Kenny.
Oh, someone killed him?
Yeah,
Okay,
like-
I'm dead.
Oh, I'm dancing on him.
There's a guy over here. I don't know.
Oh, guy behind me, guy behind me. He downed me, he's right here. He's gonna kill me. I swear to God, if you kill me, you're going to hell. Carter,
Please.
Carter,
Oh no, not
kill him.
Oh, another one. I need help.
Annihilate him. Just
Hold me close.
annihilate him.
Mom.
Annihilate him.
Just finish him off. Don't let him breathe. Make sure he never
I'm
breathes.
insane!
Billiard?
Hit them all
Billiard.
for like 80.
Billiard. Billiard.
just
Where
say I'm
are you?
insane.
Where are you?
Oh, there's a guy over here. Don't talk.
Billiard's playing a whole different game, dude. I'm telling you, this guy doesn't even play
Bro,
Minecraft. Like,
we literally, last game, we're talking about being a squad player, and this kid is actually in a different quadrant.
bro, he said he saw someone over there.
Oh, he is
Yeah, bro.
yonder.
Yonder.
He's so yonder right now.
my
What's the
God.
man doing?
All right. I think that's it for
What's up,
me.
the billiard Y2?
I'm getting a little too triggered right now.
I don't blame you, dude. I don't
Little
blame you.
trigger risky.
I want you guys to win this game for me, though. I love you all.
You have to stay and watch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how are you gonna know that we win it though?
Well, I'm gonna
And it
go.
won't count if you leave.
Well, you're gonna make me spoil it. I was gonna go raid Kenny, but
Oh no.
Shut up, guys!
Oh no.
now
Damn,
I
I'm so sorry.
now I can't raid Kenny because there's no surprise anymore.
You know, it's a
Hey,
thought.
Kenny,
that counts,
Kenny, I
honestly,
know
dude.
you have all the AR. Can I get
Yeah.
some?
I
that's true.
have 10, so yeah, here. Take some.
All right. All right. I'll talk to you guys
actually have
later.
No,
I love all
see
of you.
man. GG's, man.
GG's.
Hey, GG's, man.
All right, guys. That's where I'm going to go ahead and call it. We are going to go ahead and still raid Kenny. He doesn't even see it coming, but we're still going to raid him. All right? Everybody get ready to go raid Kenny. I'm about to post his link in the chat. I want all of you guys to go over to his stream and just spam hashtag Henis raid, all right? Yeah, we're going to raid Kenny anyway, 100%. 100%. I'm going to get his link, post it in the stream. Now, keep in mind, he's a Twitch streamer, so I'm going to post a Twitch link in the chat. So all of you guys watching on YouTube, this might be a little bit confusing for you, all right? This is another website. It's called Twitch. It's where other people, you know, a lot of gamers live stream. I'm messing with you guys. I'm assuming most of you guys know what Twitch is. Okay, apparently I'm not logged in to my YouTube channel. Okay, this is exciting. I can't type anything. I got logged out of my YouTube. Okay, now I'm back in. All right, everybody head over there. Twitch.tv/Tiboner Kenworth. All right, we're all gonna go over there. Give him a nice solid raid. All right, hashtag Henis raid. He's currently streaming on Twitch. 300 viewers. He's an absolute legend, even though he's wearing a Red Sox hat. All right, I want all you guys to go over there and just show him lots of love. All right, lots of love. Hashtag Henis raid in the chat.
Is it Domino's?
Hashtag Henis raid in the chat, guys. Everybody who's watching on Twitch, I'm sorry, I don't have the chat open for Twitch, so. Yo,
Love ya, ProHenis.
yo, thank you so much, Mr. C. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for the tube, brother. Let's get some plant hype in the chat. Thank you, my man. Hashtag Henis raid. Yo, look at you guys coming with a hashtag Henis raid. Appreciate that, guys. Go show the man some love. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel yet, by the way, make sure you guys do that. If you tap the bell icon below the video player, screenshot it, and tweet it at me on Twitter at ProHenis, I will follow every single one of you guys back. Thank you all so much for the support today. You guys have been literally insane. We completed the dope challenge today. Like, honestly, we got so much cool stuff done. Appreciate the love. Damn, check out that hashtag Henis raid.
Okay. I got more rockets for you, Dan.
What's better, green or blue?
Blue. The fact that you still don't know this kind of triggers me.
It's really hard. There's too many things in this game.
Wait, what happened?
Does he even know what's happening?
Henis raid. Wow, Casper, really? You really?
That's what I had to do.
Wow, dude. Damn. Welcome, Raiders.
Is there someone on top of that mountain?
Yo, go show Kenny some love, guys. I appreciate it. Kenny's an awesome dude. Honestly, I honestly love playing with him.
I'm gonna rocket it. Ready?
Wait, rocket ride me up there.
Okay, I'm down.
Casper, don't stand too close.
Wait.
I don't want you to
Yeah,
kill
there's
yourself.
people up there. They're building. They're building.
Appreciate all the love today, though. You guys were absolutely insane.
Are you guys winning?
I'm gonna head out. Appreciate the love. Catch you guys tomorrow. I will have a video and another live stream for you guys tomorrow. We're on the grind, man. We're headed to the top. Appreciate all the love. The hashtag Henis Army grows stronger every single day. Freaking love you guys. Thank you so much. Nothing else to say. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. Twitter's at ProHenis. There's a link in the description to that. There's also a link in the cards in the upper right-hand corner. Sorry about that. Make sure you follow my Twitch as well, twitch.tv/ProHenis. I live stream over there all the time when I'm also live streaming on YouTube. So, both streams, you can check those out and show them support would definitely mean a lot. And that is all. I'm just going to keep repeating myself. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, everybody, keep gaming. And as always, stay cool. Adios.